Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. So if you have a question about what it is that you are doing on YouTube, there is a form down in the description of this stream right now where you can put your questions and we will get them answered on the show today. So right now we just have a few questions in there. So if you have a question about what it is that you're doing on YouTube, or just a question that you want to know, something that you want to know about YouTube, go ahead and drop it down in the form that's in the description right now. So like I said, so we can make sure that we get it answered here on the stream today. In addition to that, I want to let you know that I have, some really exciting stuff to talk to you about today. And I'll be talking about that here in about like 10, maybe 15 minutes or so. But some really, really exciting information for you. So you definitely want to make sure that you stick around for that. If you are watching this on the replay, I encourage you to skip around this stream quite a bit. And the reason for that is we have timestamps that will be added to this once it's complete down in the description below. And during the stream, the direction that we go during the live stream is all based on the questions that people ask during the stream. So because of that, we talk about all kinds of things, but they're all YouTube related. So I encourage you to skip around, and I especially encourage you to skip around to the thing that I'm going to mention to you here in just a little bit, which will be around like the 10 to 15 minute mark or so, but it'll be in the timestamp, so you'll be able to find it that way. D. Nimmin in the house, my brother from the same mother. What is up, man? Hope that you're doing awesome. Nice to see you in the stream today. So I also want to let you know, as we are getting into this, as we're just getting started here today, that this stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy, which is the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. TubeBuddy will help you optimize your videos for discovery, help you test your thumbnails to make sure that the thumbnails that you are making are a good fit for the people that you are trying to reach in terms of the response that you're getting from those thumbnails. In addition to that, they have something called a Keyword Explorer that will help you optimize and get your videos, basically optimize your videos for search and just for discovery overall, as well as come up with some great video ideas and things like that. But they've got over 90 different tools that'll help you with your YouTube channel. You can find TubeBuddy down in the description below, or you can just go to tubebuddy.com/Nimmin and you can see what TubeBuddy can do for you. In addition to that, this stream is co-brought to you by StreamYard. Cheers to StreamYard here, who is a live streaming platform that I use to live stream this every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And the reason that I use StreamYard is because they do all the heavy lifting for me in the cloud. So I don't have to, put a lot of work on my computer or anything like that. And in addition to that, they make it really easy to bring guests in, which is fantastic if you're a live streamer and you want to bring people onto your stream. But they also hold your stream open for you because they do all the heavy lifting in the cloud. And what that means is, let's say that you're on one computer, you want to hop to another computer, then you can do that with StreamYard, to where you just leave it open and then you can just go hop on the other one and pick up your stream from there. Let's say that you have a power outage, you have some type of problem with your computer. StreamYard's going to hold your stream open while you get everything back together and you come back in on the stream, or you could even come in on your mobile device to hold the stream together while you are getting everything back in place. So it's an amazing tool if you are a live streamer, and you can try that at StreamYard.com, or of course, I've got a link to that down in the description as well. So with the housekeeping stuff out of the way, I just want to say what's going on to the Power of Purpose. Nice to see you in the stream today. Chantel Hills, hope that you are doing fantastic. Nice to see you here as well. Sour Cream Boy, Nigel, hope you're doing great, man. SMA Sky, nice to see you here hanging out today as well. Teresa Thrifts, I hope everybody's doing fantastic. I hope that you've had a great week. So I just started a new series yesterday that I just want to let you know about. It is Tom Nash, what's up, my man? Hope you're doing great. Amy Johnson, nice to see you here as well. Good morning. So I started a new series yesterday, and you'll see this. It's still, available on the channel right now. But basically, with that new series, I'm keeping people up to date on changes that YouTube is making over time. So anytime they introduce new features or anything like that that you need to know about, then I am going to basically do just a quick video or live stream about it so you can stay in the know. Those are going to drop most likely. Those are going to drop on Fridays, and the reason they're going to drop on Fridays is because it's the end of the week, right before you come into the weekend, so you can know the changes that you need to get familiar with over the weekend before you start your, following week. So I'll be dropping those on Friday, but you can get a sample of that. And it's a little bit messy because I wanted to get it in motion. So I was like, okay, this isn't going to be perfect today, but we just want to get it in motion. So you can sample it and see all of the updates that YouTube has put out over the last week, which is actually a staggering amount of things. If you just go to my channel page, you'll be able to find it there. But one thing that I do want to bring to your attention is that they are in the process right now. And I mentioned this in the video also, along with a bunch of other stuff. But one of the things that they're doing right now is they are trying to get a lot more strict Oh, interesting. Yeah, they're trying to get a lot more strict on comment spam and impersonation. So they are doing a lot of things in order to help combat spamming and impersonation on YouTube, which is a huge win for all of us because a lot of people are falling for that thing where they have to contact people on WhatsApp and all this other crazy stuff. So hopefully after a short amount of time, hopefully that will be behind us soon. And another thing that I just noticed that I didn't see anywhere is I just got a notification inside of my YouTube Live. I'm going to show this to you guys right now. So I just got this notification inside of my YouTube Live. Let me share the screen here really quick, where YouTube is actually nudging me to insert an ad right now. So that's pretty interesting. So let me share the screen just so I can kind of show you guys exactly what's happening here. So if you are a live streamer, you know somebody that live streams, something like that, then you're going to be able to see this. But let me go over to here. So if you look right over here, let me get this up on screen, take that down. Okay, so if you look right up here, right now, it says now would be a good time to insert ads. I'm not going to do it right now, but basically, this is a new feature, just came onto my radar just now while I'm live streaming, but basically I have the option to close this, but it looks like they have a button up here to where I can just hit this button and insert an ad just like they do on Twitch, which is pretty awesome. So just as a heads up for there, I'm not going to do it, right now. Maybe I'll just hit it randomly sometime during the stream or something. I'm not sure. But if you are a live streamer, definitely something to keep out or just to, stay aware of when you are live streaming as well. So that's pretty interesting. So go YouTube trying to engulf Twitch there. I know I was hanging out locally before we get into the content because I'm waiting for more questions to get into the forum right now. But I ran into a guy here locally before it was before 2020. And he was doing an IRL stream and he was just walking down one of the streets here. And I was like, oh, sweet, a streamer. And he basically, his whole thing, like his whole job at that time was he was just traveling the world doing IRL, which means in real life, live streams on Twitch. And we were sitting down and, we had a coffee. And during that time, he was like, okay, check this out. Cause we were live the whole time, right? Cause he's literally live streaming from the time he wakes up until the time he goes to bed. So we sit down and he was like, okay, so check this out. And he's explaining, Twitch to me and, how much money he's making with Twitch and all this. And he was like, check this out. So he told everybody in the stream, he's like, all right, guys, I'm getting ready to drop an ad on you. And he drops an ad on him. And as soon as he drops that ad, then, of course, tons of people that were in his, stream got that ad. But then also people started like donating to him and all that. And during the course of maybe, like a minute, this guy was able to generate from the ad views that he had. Cause again, he had a ton of people in his live stream, plus the donations that he had come in during that time. He was able to generate over $1,000 just in that like minute and a half while we were just sitting there talking. It was crazy. But anyway, enough about Twitch. We're here to talk about YouTube. So let's go ahead and get past that. So just a heads up, if you are just joining the stream, we are talking about YouTube and all of the things related to, being a content creator. If you have a question about what it is that you're doing on YouTube, please put it in the forum right now so we can get your question answered here live on the stream today. And let's go ahead and get into it. And again, I've got a really big thing that I'm going to show you here in just a little bit that's going to change the way that you plan and produce and distribute your content, or promote, I should say, your content. So you definitely want to make sure that you're sticking around for that. But I'm going to be doing that here after I answer a few questions. So the very first question that we have today, let's go ahead and get into it, is from That's English School. That's English School says they upload 1 time per week or more. They've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do educational content. The goal of the channel is to teach English to people in Japan. The question: hey there, Nick. Question about an overheating camera. I'm using the Sony a6300 and it cuts off at about 30 minutes in the summer heat. Any tips for prevention? It really messes things up when I'm getting in the groove. Thanks for everything. So when it comes to the 30-minute mark, some cameras shut down at the 30-minute mark anyway. And the reason they do that is it's actually like a tax loophole. So basically it comes down to import tax. So with some cameras, if they record over that 30-minute mark, they have to be classified as a different type of camera as it's coming in, and it causes them to have to pay more on import taxes when they bring them in, or when they're shipping them in or whatever. So because of that, a lot of camera companies will limit that. Some of them will let you get past that, but the cameras, I'm pretty sure all of the Sonys except the more higher end ones have the 30-minute cutoff, to my understanding. However, on the overheating side, that is an issue, especially if you're walking around in the heat, like in one of the hot days in Japan. So when it comes to overheating, one of the things that is really beneficial And this seems silly and it seems like such an easy hack. And of course, if it's really hot, it's not going to completely fix it. But one of the things they recommend for that is, how you have on the back, how you have the window that on the 6500, you can flap it out, or on the 64, you can flap it out. I think on the 63s, you might be able to fully, articulate those, but you make sure that you have that open, and then that lets some of the heat dissipate from the back of the camera. And that will, kind of compensate for some of that, extra heat and all that stuff as well. So that's the only tip that I have for you on trying to cut down on that. Another thing that might be beneficial for you to experiment with, but I'm not sure if it works with the type of content that you're making or not, or how you're recording your content. But one thing that I do to also bypass some of those issues when it comes to the heat on a camera is I'll just record in clips. And if I record in clips, that means that I'm going to hit record, and I'm going to record whatever it is that I'm going to show. Even if I'm out in the world and I'm doing like a vlog style video, I'll record whatever it is I'm going to record, and then I will, stop recording for that moment in time, and then I'll think about what it is I'm going to say next or whatever, and then I, hit record, then go for it again. And that gives me a bunch of clips to work with, which makes editing easier. And then that also keeps the camera from overheating. And that also helps me bypass that 30-minute limitation as well. So hopefully that helps you. Cloud Gaming Dad, welcome to the stream today. Hope that you're doing awesome. Brad, Magic Flying Potato, hope you're doing great. Shark Scrapper, Chantel Hills, hope everybody is doing fantastic. Neil, nice to see you here, my man. Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue, good morning, and happy 4th of July weekend to my American friends that are hanging out in the stream today. Hoorah. So next up, we've got Summit the Dragon is our next question that we have on the list. They've been on YouTube for less than 6 months. The type of channel is art and maybe a vlog type of content. And the goal of the channel is to grow and make people laugh. And the question is, how can you and should you employ psychological principles of branding in your video titles? How would this affect the target audience? So on the branding side, that's going to be that one's going to be a challenge. But in terms of affecting the target audience, the things that you can do there is something that I call an audience identifier when it applies to the content. It doesn't apply to every type of content that you're going to be making, but it does apply to a lot of different types of content. So for example, if you're making content for moms, you want to make sure that you mention that in the title. If you're making content for dads, you want to make sure you mention that in the title. If you're making content for 4th of July, for Americans on 4th of July, then, maybe in that case, targeting Americans. But, if you're in the English speaking market, they're going to see it anyway. But you know what I'm saying, though, in terms of, just when you add those types of things to your title, what happens is it helps the people identify that the content's for them. And initially, when you start doing that type of thing, it might make it seem like, hey, I might be kind of limiting my audience here, limiting my possibility for views, but that's actually a win in the long run, because what you end up doing is you start ensuring that the people that are clicking on your content are the right people versus just having people click on your content. So then that helps add clarity to YouTube systems easier on who it is that's enjoying your content. So for example, let's say that you put out a video, and that video was about something like, 8 smooth. Yeah, I can't do smoothie recipes. I'll get in trouble for that one. So let's say that you were doing 8 morning routine habits to start your day off right. Okay. In that situation, let's say that you are targeting, moms for your content. Well, 8 morning routine, tips to start your day off right. In that case, you could have anybody clicking on that. They could be a mom, they could be a kid, they could be a dad, they could be, grandparents, whatever. And even though the tips in there might still be a good fit for them, those aren't necessarily the people that you're actually trying to reach if you're targeting moms. So because of that, if it was, 8 morning routine tips for moms that will change your day, then in that case, it's only going to be moms clicking on it, or majority of the people that are going to be clicking on it are going to be for moms, as long as it's clear and it doesn't get cut off on YouTube in terms of, how they truncate titles. As long as it doesn't get cut off on YouTube, then in that case, it's only going to be a majority of moms clicking on your content. So the idea with that is to help ensure that the right people are clicking on what it is that you're doing. Chantel says, now I need to know why Nick gets in trouble for smoothie recipes. No, it's not that. It was just, I can't walk down that path. But yeah, that was just a out loud thing that I did when I was going through a clearance check in my mind of okay, what's a safe thing that I can say here to keep the peace in the chat today. So let's see here. So next up on our list. Okay, we are at 14 minutes. Let me check over here really quick. Okay, just like another minute or two. So really quick, Neil, Urban Van Life says, 2 years ago, we did our highest viewed video. We put one out on Thursday that's now overtook it. High five and fist bump to you. Congratulations. And it shows that YouTube is a marathon and you have to keep going. Also listen to Nick and his advice. Thank you, Neil, for that endorsement. I appreciate it. I see that you updated your logo. Also looks pretty dope in your profile picture there. But absolutely, it's a marathon. And also when you are, on YouTube and you're doing the whole thing, it's really important to also make sure that, that you are like, okay, hey, we had these videos that performed before. How can I analyze those and, try to figure out why we think that those videos perform better so that we can test some of those ideas on this new content until we figure out like, hey, this is what people respond to. So, so fantastic, man, that you had just a recent video end up taking one that you've had on there for over 2 years. It's been growing. That's fantastic, man. Love seeing that. So I want to bring something to your attention here really quick. So one thing that you're going to start seeing here on these live streams on a regular basis is, and some of you, if you're channel members, you're already familiar with this, but you're going to start seeing me drop a little notepad up on the screen like this. And this little notepad will either be one that looks like this or it'll be one that looks like this. And the reason for that is because for the last, as long as I can remember, I would say at least a few years now, I've been mentioning to everybody like, hey, you should take notes. When you're hanging out in the live stream, you should take notes, open your notepad. If you do it old school with a piece of paper, do it. But there has been something that has been created that will help you with that, as well as a bunch of other helpful things when it comes to your YouTube channel. So I'm actually going to show it to you here really quick and show you what it is and just give you just like a quick heads up on this so you can see what's going on. So Luxinda Swirl Resin Tumbler says TubeSpanner with a party hat. Absolutely. So the thing that I'm getting ready to show you, it's called TubeSpanner. It's a YouTube tool. I'm sure you've seen it on my TV for I think like 2 years now. I've made videos about it in the past when the features were extremely limited. But now it's been completely updated, completely overhauled, and it's like a whole new product now. And it's really awesome. There's free stuff that you can use in there. And in addition to that, there are paid tiers as well to get more, advanced things and stuff like that. But here, let me show you really quick some of the cool stuff that's in here. So one of the things that I'm going to do here really quick is I'm just going to open up one of my videos and I'm going to show you this notepad thing first. And then I'll tell you like, where to get it and install it and all that good stuff. But I just want to show you to you really quick, just because it's really awesome, especially for you as a content creator, especially as somebody that's trying to like learn how to do this stuff. So right here, this is a video that I have on my YouTube channel. This one is easy ways to make videos more engaging, right? But one thing I want to bring your attention to is if you look over here in the sidebar, you have TubeSpanner right up here at the top. But if I click on this option here called Add Notes, right? What you're going to see is it's going to create this flyout window over here on the side. And then like, let's say, let me mute this so it actually doesn't, okay, so it shouldn't have any volume. Let me turn the volume down. But like if I hit play on this, right? And then I can come in here and I can say like, okay, tip 1 and then tip 2. And you can, get in as much detail as you want here as you're, taking your notes, but you can do this during the live stream and it keeps the timestamps, which is really awesome. So then you can come back and reference any information that you wanted to reference during the live stream, which is great. But in addition to that, a really awesome thing about this is you can use this to study other YouTube videos. So let's say that you have a competitor, and I'm going to come back to that right here in a second, but let's say that you have a competitor and that competitor is, somebody and you're like, man, I just want to really get a good understanding of how they're putting their videos together. What you can do is you can use this tool and you can say, okay, here, they said this in their intro, they cut here, they cut here, they cut here. Here, they had like a pattern interruption and then they had, some cuts here, some cuts here. They're focused on this. And you can literally write down all of the notes for every cut that they make during a video to get like a really good understanding of how people are putting their videos together that you're competing with. In addition to that, on your own YouTube channel, you can also use this as a add to stream. On your own YouTube channel, you can also use this as a way to put your chapters together. So as you are putting these notes together, if you do this on your own video, then what's going to happen is you have this little option down here in the bottom that says export chapters. And then you click on that and then it'll save it to your computer and you can just copy and paste them. In the future, that's going to inject it right into the video that you do it on. But for right now, you can just download it and you can just export them as chapters. As well as these other options down here in the bottom, you have the option to pause and things like that as well while you're taking notes. So if you want the video to stop for every note that you take, it can do that if you're if you're really studying somebody's stuff, or if you just want to let it keep playing, like in this live stream, for example, then you can take the notes that you need. So this is just one tool inside of TubeSpanner. I'm going to show you some more, but if you want to, try this out, the browser extension is available for Google Chrome, for Firefox, and for Microsoft Edge. Safari is on the way, but you can go to the Chrome store right now, or you can just go to tubespanner.com and create an account over there. And then in the email that you get after you create your account, then you're going to see this. But before you go and do that, another thing that I want to show you is I want to show you some of the other cool stuff in here. So another thing that you're going to see as part of this is it also has a extension as a part of this too. So there's the upload assistant in here that's been made. So this will help you make sure that the things that you're writing for your description, basically it's breaking down the top of your description versus the bottom, so you can make sure that you're ensuring that the thing that you want people to see above the see more is within that area. And then in addition to that, if you look at these options over here on the side, and you can put all of these inside of TubeSpanner by itself. Like you can add this to the actual website itself, so you can set this up. It's fully customizable. But as you're putting your descriptions together, and this is part of the upload flow as well, by the way, what you can do is, like, let's say that you need an affiliate disclaimer for a particular video, then you can click on that and your affiliate disclaimer is going to go in there. Let's say that in my case, right, because I'm always letting you guys know about Creator Mix, which is our free music source. Here I click that, and then it has the box drop in here of that information with the emojis attached to it and all that, so that I can just speed through descriptions and make sure that you have the things that you want in there. And another really big part about this extension that is really important for all of you, if you are a content creator and you're trying to get your videos out there more, is this also has a built-in social scheduler. So what you can do is you can go and you can schedule a post to go out to Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever it is you want it to go. And then you also have a drop down here, and you see that it gives an image preview for whatever video it is that you're wanting to share, and you can go ahead and get it scheduled to have your videos sharing out on a regular basis as well. So that's just the extension. There's also a bunch of other tools that are helpful for you. They help you write titles. They help you get new video ideas, create scripts, remove backgrounds. There's a thumbnail builder in there. And another thing that is really awesome that's a part of this as well is you also get a free link in bio page as part of your account as well. So basically with this, you can, let's say you have a TikTok account, you have a YouTube account, you have, Facebook that you're sending people from, and Instagram, and you're trying to think of like, how can I collectively put all this stuff together? With TubeSpanner, you are able to create one of these social bio pages, and you can just add your links in there to send people to your own website or, whatever it is that you're trying to do. And again, this is another one of those things that this is just the starter version of this. And this particular feature right here is also gonna have a lot of, extra love coming to it as well. But if you want to give this a shot, again, you can try this free, just so you can see, some of the features that are available and what it is that you're doing. If you do decide to upgrade, I would do it quickly, because over a short amount of time, the prices that are in there now, as some of these cooler features, because there's so much awesome stuff already in here, but then also in the pipeline as well. But as those things get introduced, then of course the price is going to get more expensive, but you'll be grandfathered in if you go ahead and you upgrade your account now. But you can get that at tubespanner.com, so you can see what all that can do for you. So I just wanted to spread that awareness, and I'm also going to be mentioning it just a few other times in the stream today. But now that I've mentioned that, we are going to go ahead and we are going to continue on with answering your YouTube questions. And a big win with that also is it gave me time to also collect a decent amount of responses in here as well for questions to answer. So that was like a double win right there. But let's see here. So the next question that we have on our list, and this is question number 3 right now, is that here. Hold on, let me go down here and do this as well. So this question that I have right here in the list is from Super Cooper Hobbies. Super Cooper Hobbies, they upload 1 time per week or more. They've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. The type of channel is a book-related channel. The goal of the channel says, I want to share the books that I love with the world. And the question is, what are some ways to use storytelling in your videos? This is great. So when it comes to storytelling, of course, you can make your entire video itself the story, right? Where, you have your build up, to where you're basically creating the problem of sorts, and then you have the conflict that, that they run into with whatever it is that you're, happen to be sharing. And then, as you, keep building things up, then in that particular case, you have the climax of it, and then, they get their resolution, all that good stuff. But, you can make the entire video into a story, or you can also share like personal stories as you are going through some of of your content as well, but you just need to make sure that it's relevant to, what it is that you're talking about or whatever. But when it comes to using storytelling in your videos, I really recommend that you just, watch a bunch of YouTube videos, maybe listen to podcasts or listen to some audiobooks on storytelling so that you can, just get a handle on, what's all involved with storytelling. And then that will kind of help open you up in terms of ideas for, things that, different aspects of it that you can apply to your content as well. So let's see here. So next up, we've got, and TubeSpanner says that Danielle at TubeSpanner said that she left a chat in here also saying that anybody that does subscribe now, you will get, let's see here. Says, nope, I clicked on the wrong one. Okay, everybody who subscribes now gets the current prices for life. So just as a heads up there as well. But super exciting. Super excited. I've been waiting to tell you guys about this new stuff because I knew it was all being made. So just been super excited to, wait to tell you guys about this. But let's see here. So really quick super chat came in from TubeSpanner, says nothing like the whole world's first public demo to make you feel live and terrified. Nice. Love it. And then we had another one come in from Tier Talk with Anthony Ganji, says, if I was looking to be a balanced influencer on YouTube, who should I follow and for what specific reasons? I wouldn't really say, like, if you're looking to be a balanced YouTube content creator, I wouldn't say it's necessarily about who you follow, but more about like what it is that you are learning specifically. So, for example, if you already make great videos, then in that case, watching some stuff about how to make better videos from time to time, is beneficial just for, additional insights. But if you are great at making videos, but let's say that you're not great at thumbnails yet, then the thing that you need to do there is like, okay, now I need to make sure that I'm working out, making sure I'm spending enough education time on thumbnails and on titles, for example. So what I would do, if you're looking to be, balanced, is I would actually lean more on the skill set side and try to think of like the places where you are currently deficient. That you could make massive improvements if you just spent the time on it. And I would focus on those particular things in order to, get a balanced out skill set. Because what happens is you'll hit a point to where the videos that you make are going to be either good enough or they're going to be excellent, right? And then you're going to hit a point where the thumbnails that you make are going to be good enough or they're going to be excellent. You're going to make it a point where the titles that you write are going to be good enough, and then you'll move to excellent from there, or you'll remain good enough, whichever. But the idea is to make sure that in terms of the balance, that you are ensuring that you're giving yourself the opportunity to develop the necessary skills. So a few channels that I recommend is if you're trying to understand Photoshop better, check out Piximperfect, Piximperfect. I also recommend if you're trying to get better on camera and increase your own charisma in terms of your presentation and all of that, I recommend that you check out Charisma on Command. It's a great channel for that. Of course, in the YouTube help space, I would watch everybody's videos in the YouTube help space. And the reason for that is because everybody, takes different approaches to these things. The thing that I would be very careful of is if people are like promising you like, hey, you're going to go viral tomorrow if you implement this one trick, those types of things, I would avoid those like crazy. But people that are like, hey, they're honest and they're like, it takes work in order to grow a YouTube channel, like listen to those people. And, everybody will share different perspectives from the experience that they have based on their own experiences or the people they worked with or whatever. And as you start, listening to different people, you'll find that you'll resonate with different people, and you'll find that one person will say something one way on one topic and you're like, oh, that makes tons of sense now. I didn't really think of it from that perspective. And then another person will say something about something else and you're like, oh, okay, now that makes total sense. And through both of those things or both of those experiences from the different creators, you'll start to get, just a better understanding of, how to operate on the platform, at the highest level that you can do. Let's see here. So next up on the list here, that was a great question, by the way. Arini's Legacy is the next question here. Says, thanks for the super chat, by the way. Says, I was creating an MMORPG videos and now I cover indie gaming. How long until YouTube realizes this and recommends me on an indie niche, maybe create a new channel? So if you can always pivot your content, right? But the idea is thinking of, okay, when I'm making this content, how am I going to get it in front of the right people? So that's going to come down to the very specific topics that you use. It's going to come down to the imagery that you're using in your thumbnails to help those people in that new direction that you're heading, to help them more easily be able to understand that the content that you're making is about something that they care about. In your case, since you're doing indie gaming, then in that case, maybe you want to focus on the console that would help grab attention in the, in the actual thumbnail itself, something like that, just to help them identify that it's about something that, they might be interested in. And then in the title itself, also making sure that you're using language in the title that could also, target those people. For example, indie game would also be something that you'd want to add to it. So then that way, anybody that's interested in indie gaming, as that gets recommended to them, then they'll be able to quickly identify it's for this system. It's an indie game. I'm interested in indie games. Let me check this out. And then from there, once you get good at that, then YouTube will start showing the content that performs best on your, that you publish. They'll start showing it to more of the people that respond that respond well to that content. Keep in mind, there can be a little bit of like a transitional period as you're doing this, but a couple things you want to make sure that you are keeping an eye on is as you start transitioning from one type of content to another, or you're just switching the way that you're approaching it, is you want to make sure that you are keeping an eye on the videos that are driving the channel. Because let's say you go into your analytics and you find that a majority of the videos that are currently driving the channel are for that older content. And no matter how many videos you publish in the new direction, that older content is still bringing in a majority of your viewership. Well, the thing that happens there is those people, as you start publishing more of that indie game content, if they're not into it, then those people who are mostly interacting with the channel are the people that YouTube will be predicting are some of the ones that are most likely to be engaged in it. And when it presents it to them, if they're not clicking on it, then it can hurt the initial performance of that video and their overall velocity. So it might end up taking a longer time for that video to get wheels, so to speak, if it even does at all. So because of that, I would just make sure that you're paying attention to what's happening with the old content as you're publishing new content and moving in the new direction. And then also consider if you do have some videos that are just like, going crazy and bringing in lots of viewers on the old stuff, then in that case, you are growing, an audience of people that are interested in those things. So then you have to make the call on should I start a new channel for this so I start fresh, or should I maybe unlist some of these other videos over here, something like that, so that I can make sure that I'm growing my channel with the right audience. Great question. Let's see here. So next up on our list here, we've got the Canva Classroom. Canva Classroom in the house. Says, let's see here. They have a tutorial channel. The goal of the channel is to provide value for my audience on how to use Canva for YouTube. And the question is, I have my audience pretty dialed in, but how bad is it to throw out a broader video that doesn't quite hit that very narrowed down audience? That's a really good question. And one thing to think about when it comes to throwing out those like Hail Mary videos that might be for a more broad audience, but might not be laser targeted, is that if that video does great, then how is the rest of your content going to perform if it's recommended to those people, right? That's kind of like an unfortunate situation that we're in when it comes to YouTube. Is it's like a win and it's a headache at the same exact time, because on the win side, like when you can dial in that target audience, then YouTube's always showing your content to the right people. They can come to your channel, they can binge watch everything, and it's great. Then, your channel can do awesome. However, that keeps you kind of in this little, box of sorts. So like in a situation like yours, if you're like, hey, this broader video, even though it's Canva related, as long as it's Canva related, it might go out to a more broad audience. However, if those people did come in and enjoy this video, there's a really good chance that when YouTube starts suggesting them videos from my archive, that they'll also enjoy some of that. Then in that case, then go for it. But if you're like, yeah, in terms of, like linking this video to other videos on my channel, or YouTube recommending some of my older content to the people that are going to be interacting with this video, I don't think it's going to be, that content's going to be a great fit for them. In that case, either figure out how to make it a great fit for them, or make a video about something else. That would be my thoughts on that. Alex Cruz, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream today. Hope you're doing fantastic. Welcome to Saturday. So next up on our list here, we've got Ploppy54 Gaming. Ploppy54 Gaming says that they are sharing their love for gaming and making a little dollar, a little tiny dollar, like a little dollar, not like, just a little dollar, like $1 little. Says, the question is, my videos are not Let's Plays, so how do I incorporate storytelling into them? Well, if they're not Let's Plays, then in that case, like I mentioned before, I recommend that you hop on YouTube and you start looking at the concepts of storytelling, because there's all types of different like storytelling structures. And it's really important that if you are going to be using storytelling in your content, that you start getting familiar with the actual process itself, and the actual, method of storytelling as well, or methods of storytelling, so you can use them in your videos.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Next up on the list here, we've got Wateristic. Like the channel name. I like water, so that's good. So Wateristic says they upload when they have time on a PC. They do gaming and Roblox content. The goal of the channel is to try to become popular and become a big YouTuber. Question, how do I find the right content type my fans like? Okay. first, start with what it is that you like, right? Make sure you're prioritizing that. And the reason you want to prioritize that is because when you are putting your content together, it's really important to make sure that you are thinking of the sustainability side, especially since your goal is to become a popular and a big YouTuber. Because as part of that process, it's important to make sure that if you're going to get known for something, that it's something that you care about, something that you enjoy, something that you are going to be able to, be into for the next, 5 years or so. So because of that, I would actually start with what it is that you like. Now, once you figure out what it is that you like, this is where you start hanging out in the areas on the internet or apps, whatever, Discord, where people who also like that thing that you like also hang out. So for example, if you have Discord groups where they talk about gaming or Roblox specifically, hang out in there. You don't even have to participate. You just need to be paying attention to the conversation people are having. If there's subreddits about it, which I guarantee there are, then you need to go and you need to make sure that you're hanging out in those communities as well. Again, you don't have to engage if you don't want to, but you need to be there paying attention to the conversation that people are having around the type of content that you make. Same exact thing for, other people here. It's probably there in gaming too, but Facebook, for example, is another one of those things where, if there's a group about it, go hang out there. Again, you don't have to participate, but you need to make sure that you are being aware of the conversations that are happening in the space. And the reason for that is because you will be able to see those things coming, right? You'll be able to see a possible trend on the horizon, because people start talking about hey, this thing's coming, or this update's coming, or this thing is happening, and you are well aware of all those things are happening. So because of that, you can make sure that you're making that type of content to take advantage of things, big moments in the games. In addition to that, you can start paying really close attention to the problems that people are having. You can start paying really close attention to the questions people commonly ask or the opinions people commonly share around the game. And you can start making content about those things, because when you start charting all of those things and you start noticing, people are talking a lot about this right now, as it relates to Roblox, then when you make a video about that, then what happens is you are giving yourself the opportunity to make content about something that has a higher awareness right now within the type of content that you make. So the whole idea is to make sure that you are embedding yourself in the communities. Again, you don't have to engage if you want. You just need to make sure that you're paying attention to the conversation so that you don't miss out on any opportunities to make content for the people that, that are like you in terms of into the things that you enjoy, with your Roblox content. But that same exact thing applies to everybody here. When you are thinking of hey, what video should I make next? Of course, you want to have your, plan. You want to look at your, previous videos that are performing, things like that. But as another part of that, you also, for regardless of the type of content you make, you want to make sure that you are hanging out in the communities with the people that are enjoying, that are enjoying that same thing that you are making content about. So you can just get a really good understanding of how other people are thinking about it and what it is that they care about as it relates to that thing. So you can make sure that you're making content about those types of things. David Madney, what's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. Says, question, Nick, what are a few suggestions if a creator is going to VidSummit for the first time in order to get the most out of the conference? One, you're into real estate, so you're already a networker right out of the gate, so you'll be fine there. But first off, I do want to let you know that when it comes to VidSummit is not like some of the other conferences. So when it comes to VidSummit, and what he's talking about really quick there, by the way, VidSummit is a conference that's coming up here in September. It's from September 27th to the 29th in Los Angeles. It is the conference for content creators. If you're on TikTok, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Instagram, if you're doing anything with video on social media, that's the one you want to go to. I just got news the other day. I'll be speaking there again this year as well, so super pumped for that. But in terms of suggestions for going, so one, it's not like other conferences where everybody is walled off, where it's hey, big creators are over here, they're up on a stage, and then nobody can talk to them, anything like that. Everybody intermingles. So because of that, the very first tip is to make sure that you come into it just as a peer. So when you run into Peter McKinnon in an elevator, in your case, David, I'm sure, it wouldn't be a problem for you, but anybody else that's going, if you run into Peter McKinnon or some, YouTube content creator that you really enjoy and you watch their content all the time, you run into him in an elevator so that you can keep your cool and you look at him as a peer, because the whole thing there is people aren't asking about subscriber counts and, things like that. People at that particular conference, it's hey, we're peers here. So then everybody just openly shares information. So on that side. I recommend that you do bring something to take notes in, either a tablet or your phone or a notepad, something like that, because you're going to learn tons of information for people on the stages themselves, but you're also going to learn a ton just hanging out, listening to people talk. So, like while you're sitting there having lunch, like have your notepad with you. If you are, hanging out like on a sofa somewhere, just like, joining a conversation, have a notepad handy, because you're going to get all kinds of just great information from content creators of all different levels doing all kinds of really cool things with their content. So basically bring a notepad, make sure you bring a bottle of water also. There'll be water there, but make sure that you do have water handy, just because it's really easy to be just kind of moving around. And then you see somebody that you want to talk to and you go over and you start talking to them. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to go grab something to drink real quick. And then you're walking on the way to get something to drink. And then you run into somebody else and you're like, oh, hey, you have an open moment. Let's, chat for a minute. And then you start talking to them. And the next thing you know, it's like 3 hours that went by and you don't have any water. So because of that, you also want to make sure that you do, just keep a bottle of water handy, or at least close by, so that you make sure you stay hydrated and all that good stuff, because we're about that hydrate life here. So those are some things to make sure you keep in mind. Another thing as well is a lot of people will show up like, hey, like we'll have like the sign up day, and then we'll have the actual conference day. A lot of people wait until the conference day to sign up, but the party starts on that first day. So even though it's like registration, things like that, like I always get there early, and the reason I get there early is because before even any of that stuff starts, people are still hanging out in the lobby. People are still, having conversations, and like the whole thing is already off to a start in those cases. So I definitely recommend that you keep those types of things in mind if you're going. Yeah, and for those of you asking about the storytelling, just a heads up, TubeSpanner has templates in their scripting area for storytelling as well. So let's see here. So as we keep on going, we got Pound for Pound Sports Entertainment says, I make short boxing videos. How do I raise my RPM? So when it comes to your RPM, if you're making boxing videos, then what you need to do is you need to go through and look topically on the videos that are driving higher CPMs on them, because CPM is part of your RPM. So you want to make sure that you're going in and you are looking topically at the videos that are getting higher CPMs on them based on the topic, so that you can, make more content that is similar to that if you're just trying to raise your CPMs. In addition to that, you also need to make sure that you're getting more ad views. So you want to make sure that you are setting up what's called a watch time trap, or that's my fancy way of calling it, basically making it easy for people to find more of your content. So you got to make sure that you are making it easy for people to find more videos through your pinned comments, through your end screens, things like that. And the reason for that is because if somebody watches one video, they might not necessarily get an ad. And that means you're not going to get an ad view. You'll get a view, but it won't be a monetized view. However, if they click on your end screen, there's a chance they might see an ad then. Or if they click on that video in your playlist, there's a chance that they might see an ad then, and then you will get that monetized view from that particular viewer. So you just want to make sure that when you're putting your content together, that you're thinking of it through a series of videos, not necessarily just one, and that you're also thinking like, okay, how's video A going to link to video B or C and so on, and how can I make this chain of sorts of videos to where I make it easy for people to find them, and I can build it up at the end of each video to try to pass people off to that next video. So in my example, since you watch my content, one of the things that I'll do in my case is once I get to the end of the video, I'll say something like, well, you're watching this video because of X, Y, Z. I've actually got, an entire video that goes, in depth on that, or whatever it is that I would say there. And you can click into that, right here. And the reason I do that is because I'm building up the reason that people should click into that particular video, right? So you want to make sure that you're doing the same. Other things that will increase your RPM as a whole on your YouTube channel is, of course, if you do any live streaming, super chats, memberships, that type of stuff, any on-platform monetization. If people give you a super thanks, that's another thing that will increase that as well.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Another thing that can be beneficial for you as well is if you do have videos, as long as they're performing videos in terms of people click on them at a fair rate, people are watching them, for a fair amount of time. Another thing you can do if your only goal is to raise your CPM or your RPM is on your channel page itself, is you can also make sure that you're prioritizing one of your playlists that is all content that is proven to drive higher CPMs, and then you focus that somewhere towards the top. I always recommend putting your uploads playlist at the top so that as people hit your channel page, they see your fresh content first. And if they click into those, that's one more viewer to help give YouTube data on who is a good or who is or is not a good fit for your content. But then underneath that playlist, then you could put, that playlist of videos that are proven to drive the higher CPMs, so that it's just, a little bit higher in terms of as people are scrolling down the page. If they don't click on any of the new content that you published, then maybe you'll be able to get them to go into to one of those as well. You can also do that if we kind of zoom out, and we look at your whole archive. You can do that same exact thing to where, let's say you make a video tomorrow. If you go into your analytics, you identify the videos over, let's say, the last 28 days that are driving you the highest CPMs. Then another thing you can do as well, as long as the content is relevant, meaning that if they're watching a video on, the best gloves for boxers, and then the next video might be something about the best shorts for boxers, and I'm just using that as an example, then in that particular case, one thing that you can do is you can think, okay, do I have a video on my channel about the best shorts for boxers? If so, what's the CPM like on that? Or you can kind of do this in reverse, where you find the CPM first, and then you're like, okay, this is a great video for this. People are responding well to it. So what's a video that I could make that would complement this video so I could hand off to this one? And then you could have some of your new content pushing to some of those older videos that have the higher CPMs on them as well. So there's all kinds of fun stuff you can do like that. But what you have to do first is you have to identify the content that is driving the higher CPMs or RPMs. If you are getting, super thanks and stuff like that, you have to identify that content first, and then you can start directing traffic towards it based on, how you're linking things up and how you're recommending viewers to watch other content on your channel. And this is something we can all do, with all of our content. Let's see here. Next up on our list, Super Chat. Arini's Legacy say videos still rank after being public from hidden. Yeah, videos can definitely still get recommended inside of YouTube. They can show up in YouTube search and all of that after, like if you unlisted the video and then you publish it again, it can still, it'll still be in rotation in YouTube. Pop Goes Culture TV, thank you for the super chat. Says, hey, David here. Hey, David, Nick here. Says, are there any best practices to create a spin-off channel for a series of videos that seem to be taking off? If you have a series of videos that are taking off, I would just embrace it on the main channel. But if you are going to, just because that's where the activity is. So here's something just to mention really quick as you're kind of working through this decision is you have a series of videos that seem to be taking off. What YouTube recommends is that when you have something like that happen, that you really lean into that. If you know for a fact, hey, this is only going to be a limited series, which I don't think is the case, so you wouldn't be trying to have a new YouTube channel for it. But if you're like, hey, this is going to be a limited series, then in that case, you would just have to embrace the idea that it's going to be limited or try to think of how to extend it. But when it comes to having a series of videos that are taking off, keep in mind the reason that they're taking off is because, one, you're doing your job in terms of, you're writing titles and thumbnails, you're packaging them up in a way that people are responding to, you're giving them a great experience in the video content and so on. But YouTube has also found the right people for that content as well. Like they've identified for that channel with that content, these are the types of people on YouTube that enjoy it. So what you might end up doing is if you start creating a whole new channel, then you have to give YouTube time to find that audience again. Whereas if you're like, hey, I'm just going to embrace this and use this as just like one of the pillars of content on this channel because it's a great fit, with the theme of my channel. So I'm just going to make videos like this on a regular basis or double down on this content for a period of time. Then what you're doing is you are leaning into YouTube already knowing who to show that content to. So you're kind of shortcutting the process for yourself if you keep it on your main channel. So I would definitely just kind of consider those things before you do decide to, move it over to another channel. But if you do decide to use it to send it over to another channel, what you can do in terms of creating the spinoff channel and trying to, get people over there, what you do not want to do is you do not want to create that new channel and just tell everybody in your channel to go over there and watch it. Because if you do that, then what you're doing is you're creating an audience that's exactly the same as your current channel with all your other content on it. So what you want to make sure that you do is at the very end or close to the end of the videos that you're making as part of this series, you want to mention there that you have this new channel where you're going to be covering everything about that particular subject matter. And then that way, the reason that you put it, later in the video, middle, end, something like that, is because first off, if it's in the middle, if the videos are relatively short, then all the people going over there could negatively impact the performance of, those videos as you're putting them out. So if you have it at the end, then in that case, those are the people that are most engaged, that are enjoying the content the most because they're really, because they're making it to the end. So because of that, when you put that message there at the end, then what's going to happen is the only people that are even going to know about that channel from your channel are going to be the people that enjoy that content the most. So therefore, when you start publishing content on that channel, the people that are going to most likely see it first are going to be some of those people that most recently interacted with the content, which are the people that enjoyed it the most. So as long as you can keep those people clicking and coming back in, then that can also be a great kickstart for that channel as well. But if it was me, I would just kind of balance out like, hey, could I just keep this on my main channel, or do I need to, strategically try to move some of the people interested in this topic over to that other channel? But the last thing that you want to do, again, and just to kind of reinforce this, is you do not want to start that other channel and then say, hey, everybody, I just started a new channel, go over and subscribe to it. If it's only going to be on a thing that you're putting over there because you do not want it to be, part of your main channel. Because if you do that, again, then you're going to be polluting the audience over there instead of just, making sure that it's a laser fit for the people that are heading over to that new channel. Could be the best $7 you ever spent. I'm just kidding. Okay, so next up on the list here, we've got let's see, did I do Wateristic? Absolutely, I did Wateristic. High five and fist bump to you just for the channel name, reminding me to drink something here. Let's see here. So next up on the list here, we've got let's see, we've got Adam Schwederman. I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. They upload 1 time per week or more. They've been on YouTube for less than 6 months. They do trick shot shorts and stereotype videos. The goal of the channel is to grow and eventually make some money. Question: what are the best budget cameras nowadays that you recommend for creating YouTube videos? So the Canon M50, great camera. The A6500, 6400, 6300, all great cameras. I wouldn't even say that they're really, budget cameras for the Sony A series. Oh, I'll go pull that up right now, Doug. Thank you. But I wouldn't say the A series is like a starter camera, but it's a solid camera. And when it comes to like a starter camera, one thing to keep in mind, the M50, the Canon M50, that is more of a budget camera. But one thing that you do want to make sure that you are keeping in mind is you're going to have a lot of different options. A lot of people get like video cameras, but if you have a certain look that you're trying to get, and you're like, hey, I want my videos to look like this, I encourage you to get a DSLR camera that allows you to change lenses like the M50 that I recommended. And the reason for that is because as you are doing this stuff, as you're progressing through your journey, if you have a certain look that you're trying to get or that you plan to get in the future, then changing the lens on the camera to a better lens or to a lens that's going to best suit the look that you're going for, you're going to be able to do that on a DSLR, but you're not going to be able to do that if you get just like a regular video camera or if you're using like a GoPro or something like that. Neil Urban Van Life says, I'm thinking of getting an Insta360 for some of our content. Any advice on them? Actually, matter of fact,
if you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
So in your case, Neil, some fun stuff for you here is Insta360. They make this one here. It's called the 1R. So this particular camera, it has just the quality is fantastic. I would definitely look on Amazon for it, but the quality is fantastic. But at a from a content creator perspective, like this rivals the GoPro in my opinion. But the one thing that's better is, let's see if I can get this thing open here really quick. The one thing that's better on this than the GoPro is it has lenses that come with it that you can swap out. So let's see if I can get this thing. There we go. So like right here, right, I can take this whole thing apart, and this right here is a 360 lens. So I can make VR videos with this. And then the other lens is in the cabinet over there. And with that other lens, then I can make, just like normal, stuff with it or use it as a B camera or whatever. So in your particular case, with some of the cool stuff that you're doing inside of your vans and things like that, I would actually give something like this a shot. And the reason, that's the one you've been looking at. Yeah. I think that this would be awesome for you because you can literally set this inside of the vans that you build. Hold on, I got the wrong thing there. You can literally set this inside of the vans that you build, Neil. And when you do that, then you'll be able to get like a full 360 view, and somebody can put on VR goggles, especially since you do this, for work. You can basically showcase all the stuff that you're doing, and anybody that has a set of VR goggles or can just move their phone like this, they will be able to fully look around at all the details inside of the van. So, something like this where you can swap it back and forth between the 360 VR and the normal lens. I would definitely give that a shot and see how you like it. This camera is called, and this is for Renisha's prophetic space. This is called an Insta360, and it's a 1R. And just as a heads up, because a lot of people think that like anything I mention on the channel, just because, it's a bigger channel that, that I have some relationship or whatever, but like I don't have anything with the 360 crowd. So like, this Insta360 stuff, like I bought this, I'm not, paid to endorse this in any way, shape or form or anything like that. It's just a cool thing. Neil asked about it. So that's why I'm bringing it to everybody's attention. But let's see here. So next up, we've got, let's see here. Let's get back into the content here. So next up, and just as a reminder, if you are just joining the stream today, what we're talking about is we are talking about YouTube, all things related to YouTube and being a content creator on YouTube. We've talked about storytelling just a little bit. We talked about, balancing out, your skill sets as a content creator, those types of things. And people have mentioned, wanting to make money, things like that, which I'm sure we'll get into here a little bit later as well. We've also mentioned a not new, but a updated tool that's available for you called TubeSpanner. You can find out more about that in the description. We'll be, talking about it here a little bit later in the stream again as well. But you can find out more about that down in the description of this video right now. So let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got Marino. Marino says that they do gaming content. How many gamers do we have here? If you're a gamer, just sound off, just say me in the comment section. And while you're doing that really quick, Saradipan Chowdhury says, watching and following for you for 2 years, have grown to 4,000 subs. Not much, but I'm happy. Thanks, Nick. You are the best. High five and fist bump to you for that 4,000 subscribers that you've gotten on your YouTube channel. Nice work. A lot of content creators, they don't make it past 1,000. So any of you that have made it past 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel, give yourself a high five because you're doing better than a lot of people that that start YouTube channels. Okay, so we got a decent amount of gamers in here. Awesome. So then hopefully this, question will help you guys out too. But the goal of the channel is to inspire people. The question is, I have a shorts channel with 1,000 subscribers. What is the best way to get 4,000 hours of watch time so I can get monetized? So since you have a shorts channel, in that particular case, you're just gonna have to keep crushing it on shorts. So in your case, you're making content, a minute at a time. So it's gonna take you quite some time to get into the partner program. One thing that you might want to consider if you want to is making some long form content that you can also put out on the channel for the sake of, getting some of that longer watch time. It's going to make your channel not a shorts channel anymore, but if you do that, it will help, it'll help you get into the partner program a little bit faster compared to doing like, a minute at a time, trying to get it that way. So let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got Aperture Movement. Super chat. Says, how do you get back into the rhythm of making videos after a month of not making YouTube videos? This is a great question. How many people here make videos on a regular basis, but sometimes you take a break and you find it hard to, just kind of get your mojo back, get back in the groove? If that's you, just say me. And basically, like one thing that I do, like I'll be honest, sometimes I'll have one of those days too, where I'm like, I just don't want to do it today. And sometimes I just won't, but most of the time I'll make myself do something in order to lead myself into actually wanting to do it. So one of the things that I'll do when I do take breaks like that, or, something comes up or whatever, then what I'll typically do is I'll start working on a part of the process. So of course, when it comes to actually making the videos, if you look at it through the lens of like, okay, I've got this video to make, then you are encompassing all of these different parts of making a video in that one idea. And it makes it seem like a big project, which it is. But if you're like, okay, all I have to do today is come up with like a couple of video ideas that I'm going to work on over the next 30 days. That's it. That's all I got to do today. And then in the process of doing that, maybe you hop on YouTube, you're looking for some ideas, maybe you're looking at thumbnail ideas, things like that. Then you can start getting your brain into that motion of like, okay, I'm doing the thing, because you're at that very first point looking for some video ideas, maybe taking notes on some thumbnail ideas as you're working on your video ideas, and you start the ball rolling from there. So for me, I trick myself that way to where that will get me to go and like sit down in front of the computer, or to actually start working it out on my phone if I'm hanging out on the sofa or something. And then once I start that, then what will usually happen is I'll be like, okay, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Let's start flushing it out just a little bit. Let me open up like a Google Doc and just start flushing out, some ideas for this, maybe add a couple bullet points of some ideas of some things that I might talk about. And like by the time it's done, then I'm like, hey, I've got my video idea. I've got some ideas for the thumbnail. And I've got like, half of, you know, the information or maybe all the information that I need for the video. Now, all I've got to do is make the video. So basically, when it comes to me personally, one of the things that I do is I'll just start working on a part of the process just to kind of, you know, just kind of get myself going a little bit. Because, you know, going from not doing something to doing something, you know, there's a lot of energy involved there. So if you just start on one of the smaller, easier tasks, like, hey, I'm just going to try to come up with an idea, or a few ideas, you know, for my next handful of videos, then that will just give you that, you know, that little bit of motion that you need to start picking up some momentum on. That's the way that I trick myself into it anyway. Oh, let's see here. So Learn Spanish World, thank you for the super chat. Says, I'm a teacher. I enjoy producing well-structured Spanish lessons, but my audience prefers learn while you sleep videos, which give me the most subs and money. I feel conflicted. Credibility versus audience preference. What do you recommend? So in my opinion, since the algorithm follows the audience, I believe that we should too. So as long as it's in alignment with what it is that we're ultimately trying to do with the YouTube channel, then in that case, I would lean in that direction of what the audience is responding to at the most. Because what's happening, like I mentioned with the other channel before, is, you know, YouTube is, you know, they're nailing the people that are interested in that type of content and they're responding to it. So because of that, you know, leaning into that could be the difference on like, hey, I'm going to resist it and I'm going to try to force in this content, even though everybody's enjoying this content. What can happen is you can resist that. And when you do, you start trying to roll that big boulder uphill and it's not really working in your favor. Or you can be at the top of the hill where it's like, hey, people are, you know, enjoying this and all I have to do is just keep making content like this and people keep responding to it. Then in that case, you can be at the top of the hill and start rolling the boulder down the hill, which is going to be much easier because YouTube's already figured out who it is. You've already figured out the videos that people respond to in terms of structurally how to put everything together and whatever. So, you know, you've already got the formula. You just have to, you know, you have to make the choice and if you're going to continue to apply it or not. But you know, that difference can be a huge difference on, you know, the future performance of your YouTube channel. But the fact that you have the content that is proven to get a great response on your channel, I would lean on that as long as it's something that you want to do in the future. And then possibly if you're like, hey, I want to do more of these structured lessons, then in that case, maybe do a second channel for it or something like that. Or just polarize your audience if you want to, which is, hey, I'm going to have this sleeping content for those people to where a lot of these people that are just learning the language, they're not even going to respond to that stuff. And then I'm going to have the people that are going to respond to this stuff and not respond to this stuff. So it's going to be a little bit conflicting, but over time, YouTube will get better at, you know, showing the right stuff to the right people. But the only place that's really going to work against you is when they really start digging into your archive to show the people that are the most engaged in your channel, showing them, you know, what it is that they think that they want them to see. So if it was me and I was in that situation, I would just lean into it. But in your particular case, if you're like, hey, I need to do the regular Spanish lessons so that I can, you know, generate leads for maybe one-on-one language coaching, or so I can get people into my language course or something like that, then it's a totally different scenario. Because then you're not just trying to grow your YouTube channel, you're trying to use it for other things. And therefore you need to prioritize those other things and figure out how to make that work versus just leaning into the audience. But if you're doing it for the sake of like, hey, I'm just trying to do this YouTube thing and I'm focusing on that, then in that case, I would lean into what the audience is responding to most. Awesome question though. Gina's Joke Emporium. Hey Gina, hope you're doing great. Says, what is the minimum video length for monetization via AdSense? It's 1 minute. So it's actually over 1 minute. My 5-week-old channel has 52 Depthverse Horde shorts of 60 to 20 seconds, but I only have 44 subs and I'm stuck at 93% retention. Any advice? So just as a heads up, your AdSense, or I'm sorry, your shorts won't get you into the, your shorts aren't going to cut the mustard for you outside of the shorts fund on YouTube. So if you're trying to get, you know, into the partner program and all that, your shorts are not going to be the way to get there. And I should have mentioned that actually on the other channel as well. Like the shorts fund is the only way that you monetize shorts content right now outside of on platform views. Like let's say, for example, they recommend you in YouTube search or on a homepage or something like that. Then, you know, you can get ads on those, but the majority of the views that you're going to be getting are from the short shelf. And as of this moment, you know, you're kind of stuck there with the YouTube Shorts Fund. But in terms of, you know, 44 subscribers stuck at, you know, you're stuck at 93% retention. Just heads up, if your videos are a minute long and you are, oh, no, they're 60 to 20 seconds. Okay. So one thing to keep in mind is that the Dep and Herd stuff is over now. So I would find something else to make, because in terms of, people clicking on that and wanting to watch the whole thing, like, it's over now. So I would focus on the next trending thing to try to accelerate things. And what I'm getting at there is, like, if people are leaving after 15 or 20 seconds of your short, then in that particular case, that's just showing they're not interested anymore. That's what I'm getting at. That's the bigger picture of why I'm recommending that. Let's see here. So next up on our list, we're hopping back into the form now. So the next here on this list, we've got Passive DeFi Guy. Passive DeFi Guy does cryptocurrency content. The goal of the channel is to help everyone understand how to use crypto and make passive income. And the question is, would you hide your sub count if it's really low? Because I've heard a lot of people won't come to your channel with a low count. Just a heads up. Who here hides your subscriber count right now? If you hide your subscriber count right now, just say me. Because I have some news for you that you just need to be aware of. That's why I'm asking right now. But I'll go ahead and just share the news for DeFi Guy here. And basically, here's the news. So one of the things that I mentioned in that video yesterday, in my YouTube update video, and this is why it's important to make sure that you start watching those updates when I put them out every weekend, is if you hide your subscriber count, as of yesterday, you are no longer allowed to hide your subscriber count on YouTube. They are disabling that feature. And the reason that they're doing that is because a lot of the people that are impersonating other YouTube channels are using the profile pictures and all that stuff, but they are not, they don't show the subscriber count, so that you can't really verify it outside of the videos that are on the channel, of course. But because that is one of the things that they mention as part of the updates that they're rolling out right now, you are no longer going to be able to hide your subscriber count. Really quick, Hazilio says, thanks for the super chat, says, the YouTuber suggested to ask you to audit my channel. Is that something that you do? So I don't do that in the streams. One thing that we do as part of our channel memberships is we have a meetup that we do every week. And as part of that meetup, I'll go in and I'll look at a channel or two during the stream. And I'll basically just give feedback on all the different stuff that we see during that stream. So I do that there. So if you want to become a channel member and then go put your channel and be in the queue there, and then wait for us to get to your channel in the queue, then I can give you that feedback there. If not, then I recommend that you go to danielbatal.com, DanielBatal.com. He does direct channel reviews and consulting, or go to awesomecreatoracademy.com. That's Roberto Blake's place over there. And he also does one-on-one consulting, group consulting, and he does channel reviews and things like that as well. So I would check out both of those if you are looking for that solution. Or all three of those, I should say. But yeah, on the subscriber count thing, I think we got that covered there with that particular one. Let's see here. Next up on the list, we've got Normal Mode TV. Rolling in normal mode. Says they do video game reviews. The goal of the channel is for now just to make better content. Priorities right there. That's what I'm talking about. Says, the question is, do you recommend unlisting underperforming content? And if not, what if it's exceptionally bad? So when it comes to unlisting videos, one thing that I do want to let you know about, A+ Russian, yeah, they'll be taking it out over time. It's not just like hey, we're hitting a switch. They're going through and they're hiding all that stuff now. But in terms of the unlisting the unperforming content, one thing to be aware of is that sometimes you'll publish a video and it'll tank right out of the gate. You'll think to yourself like, this sucks, nobody likes it, any of that. But what you want to look at is you want to go and look and see if YouTube is still giving it impressions. As long as they're still giving it impressions, and you can see this inside of your analytics, as long as they're still giving it impressions, then you're still winning, and you still have the opportunity for that video to either bring in regular viewers over time, or for that video to just take off out of nowhere if YouTube finds the right audience for it. So because of that, when it comes to unlisting underperforming content, I would let it sit for a while. And the reason I'd let it sit for a while is because, YouTube just might not be showing it to the right people yet. So one thing that you might want to do is for anything that's underperforming, you might want to go through and update the thumbnail, update the title, maybe even, redo your description, whatever, but basically just update, everything that you can with that particular video. Maybe as long as the audience retention is okay on that video, maybe even recommend that video at the end of one of your other videos, one of your newer videos, to try to, breathe a little bit of life into it with a more fresh audience now that you are better at making content. and see, give it another like 3 to 6 months after that, and then see if it continues to not perform well. If it doesn't, then at that moment in time, then, feel free to unlist it. But really, like I'll leave videos on my channel that get like 10 views a week. And the reason for that is because, that 10 views, out of that 10 views per week, let's say that gives me, 40 views, 40 new viewers possibly, per month. Then in that particular case, some of those people will end up coming and binge watching a lot of my videos over time, things like that. Some of them will end up, hanging out here, those types of things. So because of that, I'll just leave stuff up, unless I'm like, hey, YouTube isn't really giving this impressions anymore because it's so old and, blah, blah. Then in that case, I'll unlist it. But for most of the stuff, then I'll just leave it up. And I've had videos take off like that too. Let's see here. So next up on our list here, we've got Goth and Raven Gaming. More gamers in here. Says the goal of the channel is to have people watch and laugh at my gaming content. And the question is, all but one of my videos have a lot of keywords. One has only the game's name as a keyword. The video with multiple keywords do okay. The video with one keyword is doing great. Should I just use one keyword, only the game's name, or use multiple keywords? So when it comes to keywords, keep in mind that keywords are not what make your videos perform. Keywords help make your videos discoverable, but they're not what make your videos perform. So the thing that makes your videos perform is how often people are clicking on your videos when they're presented to people on YouTube, when you get an impression, and how long they enjoy your content once they decide to click on it, how much they further engage, and how they further engage from there. Those are the things that really matter to YouTube. So when it comes to using keywords, the reason that you use keywords in your videos is, one, it helps the humans, the people on YouTube, identify that your video is about that thing. So let's say if it shows up on a homepage, since you do gaming content, I'll just say Fortnite. Let's say you're going after like a Fortnite, new Fortnite update. Then in that case, hey, you know what, guys, I have to try this. So YouTube is giving me the option here to drop an ad in here. I have to try this. You can stick around for it, or you can come back in like, maybe 5 seconds or something. I'm not sure how long it's going to be, but I just want to see what happens because it nudged me again. So I'm just going to hit this again to insert ad. So here we go. Okay, looks like nothing happened. Yeah, nothing happened. Okay. So yeah, so maybe because I'm streaming through this and not directly there, maybe that's why I'm not seeing it over there. Okay, so yeah, so I guess that didn't work the way that I thought it was gonna work. So if you did see an ad, just let me know. If you saw an ad, let me know. If you did not see an ad when I clicked that, let me know. Because of course, like premium users, I'm guessing won't see it, that kind of stuff. Oh, you did? Terror with Ruby saw an ad. Okay, so it did work. You got a Wix ad. Okay, interesting. Okay. Yeah, because I didn't see it on my end, and I just assumed that it didn't work. An Energizer commercial that cut off. A skippable ad. Okay, interesting. All right, nice. Okay, yes, it did work. Okay, go YouTube. Okay, so let's see here. Next up on our list here, we've got, let's see here. This is gaming. Have people watch my gaming content. Oh yeah, so we're talking about keywords. So, hey, Ash Borland, what's up, man? Hey, dude, when you get the opportunity, will you shoot me an email? I actually want to touch base with you on something about repurposing stuff if you're still doing that. But in terms of keywords, so another way that you want to use keywords is you want to use keywords, and like if you're trying to rank something in YouTube search, then of course that's where you want to lean more on keywords, because then if you have like keywords or keyword phrases attached to it, then in that particular case, then what you're doing is you're just helping the system understand that your content is about that. Of course, it's smart enough to figure it out anyway, and sometimes you'll see content ranked in like the top position in search that doesn't have any keywords in it because YouTube has read the captions, they've watched the video, the system has, and it understands what the video is about. They test it in search, people respond to it there, and because of that, it's there. But you give yourself that chance to show up there easier and faster if you do make sure that you include keywords or keyword phrases in your titles. Of course, having that in your description, something like that, is also important. But at the end of the day, the most important place to put it is in the title, and then of course in the top paragraph of your description. Let's see here. So as we keep on going through the list here, we've got Mr. Fulton Mraz. Mr. Fulton Mraz says, I'm using my Android phone to make the content. They have an entertainment channel. The goal of the channel is because I would like to be famous and make music. And the question is, My question is, how can I get myself monetized for my channel? So monetization on YouTube comes down to getting 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. So you have to make sure that you cross both of those things. So in order to get the 1,000 subscribers, you have to make sure that you're making content. I mean, you can do it without doing this, but it'll happen faster in most cases if you make sure that you're making your content around a theme, so that if somebody comes in and they start consuming your content and they enjoy it, then they can easily binge watch more of your content, which will help you get more views. That will help, increase the chances of them subscribing to the channel, which will help move you towards that milestone. And they will be watching a lot of your content, which will also help you get more watch time, which will help move you towards that milestone as well. So those are the things that you need to make sure that you are prioritizing: is good content, getting people to click on it, and also making content on a theme so that it gives people a reason to come back. Let's see here. Next up on our list here.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
SMA Sky says, interesting to see how the ads work live. Yeah, that was interesting. That was my first time actually seeing that. So that was an interesting thing for me as well. So next up here, we've got GHSTS Mysterio. GTSTS Mysterio says that they've been on YouTube for less than a year, gaming content. The goal of the channel is to give people the best weapons to use in games and provide entertainment. Question: what are some small things I can do to boost my videos to a bigger audience? When you are putting your content out, if you are making the choice on, which you are as a content creator, if you're making the choice on topically, what should I talk about? Doing some research, looking in Google Trends, maybe using TubeBuddy for this, where you are looking to get an understanding of how interested people are in the topic that you are considering making your video about. That's what you want to do. And then by doing that, that gives you the opportunity to make content about things that a broader audience of people that are interested in your games that you're playing, that a broader amount of people are interested in. So a great thing for this is if you go to Google Trends, then you can start putting in, like, at the very least, you can start putting in the game name itself. And then if you look down at if you scroll down the page, once you put in the game name, it's going to start showing you breakouts, or it's going to start showing you, things that are like on the rise for that particular topic. So you can go down there and you can be like, oh, hey, this one's got like a 400% breakout right now. And you want to make sure you adjust the date range for this too. But it's like, hey, this one's got like a 4,000% breakout. This one's got a 200% breakout, things like that. So you can just get an idea like, hey, this one's on the rise right now. So I need to make sure that I, make some content about this so I can get in front of a broader amount of people. But using trends for that's great, and also doing the research to uncover the things that the people that are interested in your type of content, the things that they're interested in the most. That's also a way that you can make sure that you're making content for just a broader amount of people that are interested in that subject. For example, if you're like, hey, this is, the best skins to get for this game, then in that case, that's going to reach like a certain amount of people. But if you're like, hey, there's this one problem everybody's trying to, figure out like where all the good stuff is on the new update, that just happened in Fortnite. So therefore I'm going to make something about that and see, research and make sure that there's enough people interested in that. And then I'm going to make that content about that. But also just hopping on trends in general, like anytime the games that you play, anytime they have updates, being some of the first people to make, the content about those, is also advantageous for that type of thing. Next on our list, we have Can Fly Wah. Can Fly Wah says they show Western Australia from the view of a drone. The goal is to showcase Western Australia. And the question is, I'm going to do a video. This video is to highlight an organization in Western Australia. This video is going to be my own personal views. Should I put a disclaimer at the start saying that it's not sponsored or a paid promotion? No, not at all. So YouTube actually does that the opposite. So when people come into videos, if it is sponsored or paid, then you need to, mark the checkbox in there, and then YouTube will do that. And then you also need to disclose it in the content as well. But in terms of, you putting a disclaimer saying that it's not sponsored or paid, don't even worry about it. Just let them know, hey, this is a, thing on an organization that I'm doing in Western Australia. Like you don't have to make the disclaimer that you're not sponsored by it. I'll do that sometimes, like for example, I did it when I was talking about this. Like I'll do that sometimes if I'm like highlighting something for content creators, just because I do make a lot of sponsored content. So it's just my way of just letting people know that, that I'm just like sharing something and Even though I 100% back all the things that I mention and that I discuss and all that stuff here. It's still like, if something's not sponsored, I just want to let people know, just because it adds that layer of like, okay, well, at least I know that he's like, recommending this, like on the up and up type of thing. Cause some people are weird about, sponsorships. Okay, so next up on our list here, we've got Christianity Explained. Says that they have faith-based content. The goal of the channel is to, this is going to be about a potential channel. And says, I have a blog site and YouTube channel, the same name, Christianity Explained. I've been posting 2 times a week. I felt a need to step away from YouTube. My videos have often been just me talking to the camera, no B-roll. Yes, I know. I'm considering a gaming channel. So really quick, you said, yes, you know. So as a heads up, like, just talking to the camera with no B-roll, in some cases that can be perfectly fine. Like, you don't have to have B-roll. Like, there isn't a rule that says like a video has to have this, and this, because people respond to all kinds of different stuff. So, some people, Project Life Mastery, for example. I haven't watched his channel in a while, but when I was really into his content, he had almost 0 B-roll. I would sit there and I'd watch like a 30-minute video from him or a 20-minute video, and it's just like him talking. And he was such a good communicator that I didn't even need B-roll or anything like that. I was just engaged in what it was that he was talking about. So, adding B-roll, things like that, they can definitely help illustrate the idea that you're talking about, and it changes up the scene and it changes up what people are seeing. So it can definitely help in some cases. But at the end of the day, it's not a requirement. So just keep that in mind. But you say, I'm considering a gaming channel that's just for fun and the viewers. Do I have I do have a Minecraft account. Here's my question. How entertaining is it to see a player constantly getting lost or dying? It's the only reason that I'm hesitant to play survival Minecraft. So I don't play Minecraft. I've only played Minecraft, I think, like once, and I didn't even play it at that time. I just watched somebody else do it. So I'm not, into Minecraft enough to really honestly give you like a true answer to that, or like a real, like an informed opinion about that. So because of that, I'm going to say that I'm not sure. But one thing that I can tell you about watching gaming content, where they are constantly dying, I do from time to time. I'll watch like Fortnite content or Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto, that type of content, because those are the games that I do play. And within those, I have no problem. And it's part of the thing, right? Like, somebody goes in, like, how far do they make it before they do, get taken down? So, it really comes down to, to how it is that you're putting everything together. And also just getting a good understanding of, the crowd that you are going to be making content for. But keep in mind, if you are doing it to where it's like, hey, we are, we're losing, like we keep losing, in all these games, some people might want to come in and watch that. But if you are already thinking to yourself, like, yeah, this isn't going to be good, then I would recommend trying to find something that you believe in, and that you'll get excited about when it comes to making the content. Foxy Smalls says that they upload every other day. They do gaming content as well. The goal is for fun, but it's also some ad revenue would be cool. The question, I don't want to be fake. However, how do I make my videos more interesting for watch time? You don't have to be fake. Being you is actually one of the ways that you make your content interesting, because, the element of you is something that nobody else can add to their content. Only you can do that. So, so because of that, being you is perfectly fine. But when it comes to making your content more entertaining or more engaging, B-roll can be helpful, making sure that you are interrupting the content in some way. Sometimes it's called a pattern interrupt. And the idea is to where, you're talking at the same cadence, you are, showing things at the same cadence, whatever. And then you kind of throw a wrench into the whole thing from time to time. You break up the scene in some way. If you're continuing on, you have this fast momentum, then in that case, slowing things down a little bit, maybe even stopping for a second, and having, some type of, graphic come up on the screen where people are going like, or, something like that. Those types of things, they just kind of break up the flow of the video for a second, and then the video will start again, and then you can pull them back in from there. So, doing those types of things is definitely advantageous, but just being mindful, like when you're putting your content together, when it comes to making content that's engaging, or that's just interesting to watch, when you're watching it yourself or when you're editing it, thinking to yourself like, okay, is this part that I'm going through right now, and all of this time that I'm going to put into this next 10 minutes of this video, or the next 5 minutes of this video, or 10 seconds of this video, is all this time I'm getting ready to put into this, is this piece of content even like a really good fit for this video, in terms of if somebody's watching it, like, even though I recorded it, even though I would like it to be in there, is this really going to add to this particular video? Does this need to be in here for this particular video? And knowing what to cut out is a huge part of, being a content creator and just being a good editor in general, because, there's the stuff that like you want to put in, and then there's the stuff that once you start putting it together, you're like, you know what, that's actually not as good as I thought it was going to be. So, maybe it's not going to add the value, or maybe it's not as entertaining or as funny as I thought. So I'm going to take those things out. My pleasure, Foxy Smalls. Like your channel name, reminds me of Biggie Smalls. Arjun Ravi, I hope I'm saying that correctly. They do shorts comedy, and the goal is, because it's fun, and the question is, what do you do when you get a viral short? Analyze that viral short and try to make another one that is similar. Look at how you started the video. Look at how you started it in terms of how you grabbed attention. Look at the things you were focusing on. Look at the things you were cutting. As a matter of fact, that notes tool that I mentioned earlier, and by the way, I'm gonna let you guys know about that here in just a second, but that notes tool that I mentioned earlier, TubeSpanner, if you go to tubespanner.com, you can check this out. But like, this is one of those things where you can even analyze your own content that performs well, to where you can open up your Notepad. Here, I'll just show you the screenshot of it here really quick, to where basically you, let's see here, share screen. But basically what you do is you open up your Notepad right here, right? And when you open up the Notepad, because I'd already started adding notes to this one, but it would be like, let's see here, my hook, I said, XYZ, and then I cut to a shot of food, and then cut to it's actually not even on the screen. Let me go ahead and get this on the screen. There we go. So here, cut to, let's see here, cut to a overhead shot of me. Cut to edited shot of computer. And basically, like, as you're going through, watching your own short or watching your own content or watching competitors, you can just, add notes to it over here. Just as a heads up, this is TubeSpanner. I've got a link to this down in the description. It is a browser extension that that will help you, create your content. It'll help you promote your content as well. Basically, this tool that I'm showing right here it's a notepad, because I'm always telling people to take notes during their live streams. So this is going to help you do that, but it's tubespanner.com. I'm going to link in the description. But another part of this extension as well is that they also have it here where they have a social planner, to where you can schedule tweets or Facebook posts or whatever to go out. And they actually have this list right here, where when you click on this, you can see that I can just get a visual view of the videos that I want to be sharing out. And I can just click this one, and then this right here will be the video that goes out, to Twitter. And then I can like schedule that and make sure that everything goes out, at the right time. There's an upload assistant in here to help you quickly be able to inject whatever, information that you need into your video descriptions, things like that. So you can try this out for yourself for free. You can even use the Notepad for free as well. But you can try this out for free at tubespanner.com. There's also included inside of TubeSpanner, you also get a social bio page as well. So you can connect all of your social media accounts through this, which is great. So then you can, if you have a TikTok account, Instagram account, YouTube, all that, then you can use this as a way to kind of pull everybody into one central spot, to where they'll be able to find all of your content if you just use this in your bios on the platforms that do have bio links in them. But it's really awesome. So there's been a ton of work that's went into this, and it's turned out to be really, really incredible. It's going to help a lot of content creators prepare, produce, and promote your content. So, so make sure that you check that out. Again, a link is down in the description. But Daniel Patel in the house. What's up, my man? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Says TubeSpanner in full effect. Absolutely, it is, Daniel. Hey, man, there's somebody in here earlier that was looking for a channel review. We sent them to your website. Their channel name, I'm not sure if they're still in here or not, but their channel name was Hezelio, Hezeleo. They had mentioned that somebody had recommended coming to me for a channel audit. So we sent them your direction. So just as a heads up, man, you might have somebody hitting you up for that, or you can just reach out to them, either one. Or if they're still in the chat, of course, Daniel Patel's in the house right now. So you can just click on his name and head over there right now. But the next question that we have here on the list, we did Arjun already. So the next question that we have here on the list is from X Gaming, EXZ Gaming. And the goal of the channel is so I can use my time for something else than sitting all day and playing. And the question is, how do I promote my videos? I'm really embarrassed to ask my friends to check out my channel. Other than that, how can I promote my channel? Okay, this is a great question. So when it comes to promoting your YouTube channel, first off, who here wants to know, like, how can you promote your YouTube channel? If you do, just say me. So when it comes to promoting your YouTube channel, the first thing to know is that the best thing you can do before you think of like, okay, I'm gonna start promoting this externally, the best thing to think about is, okay, I need to learn how to get a response on YouTube from people that don't know me, right? Because that is where you'll get the biggest wins. And you learn how to do that by learning how to come up with topics that people care about, as it relates to your content, making thumbnails that help people identify the content, something that they care about, and can also compel them enough to click. And then also making sure that you're writing titles that are also compelling and interesting enough for people to click. So for example, instead of, my trip to the mall, oh, hey, he's still here. Okay, yeah, so Hazilio is still here, Daniel. But basically, when you are, trying to get the activity on YouTube, you got to make sure that you're doing that with, people being able to identify that your content's something they might care about, so they'll click on it. Then once they click on it, you have to make sure that you're putting your content together in a way based on the information that your audience retention reports tell you, which is your audience retention reports. If you're not familiar with that, it's a second-by-second graph that you get as a content creator for every video that you publish. But basically, you use your audience retention reports as real feedback in terms of how the people that do interact with your content, even if it's a low amount of views right now, the people that are interacting with it, like how are they interacting? Is there any places that they're leaving? How good are you holding their attention at the beginning and things like that? So as you start putting that together and you start paying attention to it, then you can start modifying your content and your thumbnails and your titles and the topics you're coming up with in order to get a better response over time as you start getting that, understanding. Now, in addition to that, you also have the outside things that you can do to drive people into your YouTube channel. But before we talk about that, we're going to talk about one more thing on YouTube. So one thing to think about if you're just getting started is that a majority of the viewership on YouTube happens from their recommendation features. That means that YouTube predicting what people are likely to watch, they're extremely effective at it. Even if they don't always nail it, they're extremely effective at it. And that's why a majority of the views that come from YouTube come from suggested videos and home pages, right? So it's really important that you learn how to tap into that. But if you're just getting started and you're like, hey, I don't even know how to grab somebody's attention with like a thumbnail yet, then what I recommend that you do is try to optimize some of your content for YouTube search. If you optimize some of your content for YouTube search, it's easier to get people to click from YouTube search because they're looking for your videos. They're literally typing into YouTube search bar this particular problem or this particular thing or this thing I'm wanting to know more about, whatever, and then content is listed in the search results that gives them the option to click into some of those videos. So if you optimize your content for search, then for some of your content, then that can be like a low-hanging fruit, so to speak, in terms of getting some initial viewership, as long as you're making videos for topics that have a high amount of search volume and a lower amount of competition. TubeBuddy, who is a sponsor of this live stream, TubeBuddy, there's a link to them down in the description, but they can actually help you uncover that. So it is a browser extension as well. And with TubeBuddy, what they do is they actually have their keyword explorer, which also helps kind of predict your likelihood of ranking there in terms of the metadata. However, the one thing that it doesn't do is it doesn't ensure that you're going to rank there. And the reason that they can't ensure that, it's impossible, is because if your video shows up there and people don't click on it because your thumbnail's bad or your title's bad, then in that case, right out of the gate, your videos are going to start getting demoted quickly. If they do click on them, but then they abandon your videos or they leave your videos to watch something else at a faster rate than what is happening with the other videos that are there, then what can happen is if you're not getting enough watch time per impression compared to the other ones, then of course you're going to start falling through the ranks as well. So because of that, even if you're going for YouTube search, even though it's easier to get people to click there, you still got to make sure that you're making good content that people, will enjoy once they find it on YouTube search. So you want to make sure that you are considering that in terms of what it is that you're targeting. But keep in mind, the big wins come from the recommendation features on YouTube. Now, let's talk about external promotion. So when it comes to external promotion, you have, all the other social media accounts that you can make. You can use, you can use this part of it for free. The social bio part, that and the Notepad are both free, but you can use that tool that I just showed you, TubeSpanner, and there you can create that link in bio. You can create a Twitter account. You can create an Instagram account, all that. You can start uploading some of your content there in short form. Sometimes content creators that have trouble getting a click on YouTube, they will rock in YouTube Shorts or on TikTok or on Instagram Reels because they're good at making content, but they're just not good at getting people to click yet. So because of that, you also might want to consider taking some of your content, cutting it up into shorter form content or just vertical content and loading it up into some of those platforms as well. And then using TubeSpanner or something like it to drive people from all of your bios back to your YouTube channel, or at least to spread them across your social media accounts, so that when you publish YouTube videos, you can post on Twitter, wherever it is, and let people know like, hey, I got this new video, and people can come in and watch it that way too. So doing those things can be helpful. The search optimization thing that I mentioned before for YouTube search, that can also help you show up in textual search engines like Google and Yahoo and Bing and any of the other ones that people are using. And then there's also fun things that you can do. So I have a video on my channel called Sneaky Ways to Get Views on YouTube. That whole thing is about using the social media platforms that you're already on to spread awareness about your YouTube channel. So for example, if you're a Reddit user, a lot of people don't know that it's really common on Reddit for people to go and look at channel names and post histories and all that good stuff. And when people click on your channel name on Reddit, you can pin a post that you make in your own subreddit or whatever. You can pin a post to the very top of your subreddit, letting people know you have a YouTube channel, putting a link there and all of that as well. You can also do that on Twitter, and all the other social platforms too. So like when you start doing those types of things, then you just interact like you normally would, but you've optimized those platforms to also spread awareness about what it is that you're doing as well. In addition to that, you can share your content in other places. But if you share your content in other places, you want to make sure that the places are a great fit for the content that you're sharing. So you want to avoid any view for view type of YouTube groups, any like small YouTuber help groups where people are just like trying to watch other people's content and they're just using it for the sake of trying to get views. And what you want to think about is if I'm going to share my content in a subreddit or a Facebook group or a Discord or anything like that, what I have to make sure that I do is I need to vet that group first. The way that I vet that group is I go in and I simply think to myself, if I share my video in here, for the people that are interacting in here, the thing that we're all talking about, the thing that we're in a part of this group for, that we're all interested in, is my video just a good fit for this group or not? Would these people be likely to click on my content based on the interest that they're proven to have by being a part of this group? Would these people be a possible click from a YouTube homepage if my video is just randomly recommended to them? If the answer to that is yes, then that group is a good place to share it, as long as they allow you to share it there. If they don't allow you to share it there, then in that case, you're kind of stuck at that point in time. But if they do allow people to share content there from time to time and things like that, then you can of course share your content in those, as long as they're a great fit. Because you don't want to share just for the sake of sharing, because it might seem like you're getting a decent amount of views, but then if you go and you look in your traffic sources reports and you see your external traffic, and then you go to like Facebook, for example, you'll find that in a lot of cases, if you don't nail the group in terms of their interests, then what you're going to see is you're going to see that people coming from that external source, they're not watching for a long period of time, which means they're coming in and they're leaving the video. So what you're seeing is you're seeing like, hey, my views are going up, this is great, but you're not realizing that the views that you're getting are extremely low quality and they're not sticking around for the content, which means that all the effort that you're spending sharing is wasted if you're not paying attention to see how people are responding there. So you just have to make sure that you're paying attention to all of those things. So let's see here. Next up on our list here today, we've got Rama D's. Rama D's says they do a cartoon review channel. I had a joke in my head that I would have loved to have just said there, but all you old Snoop Dogg fans, you know what I'm talking about. The goal of the channel says to become a big figure in the cartoon community. And the question is, I started uploading videos on SML, and now that I've changed my channel to cartoon reviews, my channel is dead. How do I fix this and get YouTube to recommend my videos to the right people? So YouTube recommending to your videos to the right people is going to come down to, Ash got it. YouTube recommending your videos to the right people is going to come down to what you're making your videos about and how you're optimizing those videos in terms of your thumbnails and your titles. That's what's going to determine who YouTube is showing your content to. So because of that, you want to make sure that you are being very intentional about the titles that you're writing, that you're not writing a title like, oh, this happened at the mall, that you're writing a title that very clearly targets the people that you're trying to reach with your content, so that when YouTube shows it to them, they can identify it's something they care about and click on it and come in. And then once the right people start clicking on it because you're optimizing to reach that target audience, then what's going to happen is YouTube is going to identify, when we show it to these types of people that are interested in these types of things and use YouTube in this way, they are responding to it. Therefore, we're going to find other people on the platform that also YouTube in this way and that also like these types of things. And we're going to test it against them and see if they also respond to it. And then if they do, then your video is just going to keep getting views until they get to an audience that, doesn't respond to it, or they don't respond to it as well. And then if they don't respond to it, then those videos are going to start getting lower impressions. And then, occasionally you might see a little bump in impressions and things like that as they're testing it against different people. But, ultimately, if the video doesn't perform well, it's not going to perform well unless they find that right audience for it, down the road. Buffalo Jet fan says your humility and sincerity. Wish I could give more. Hey, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. And thanks for the kind words too. Like really appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see here. Next up on our list today, we've got Crazy Kid 949 says they do stand-up comedy. They do their own personal routines, and the goal of the channel is to increase joy in the world, hopefully get monetized. And the question is it against the terms and agreements to put links in the description box to books that you wrote and are self-published on another website before you get monetized? No. So before you get monetized, so let's talk about this for a second. So how many people here right now are not in the YouTube Partner Program, but you're trying to get into the YouTube Partner Program? If that's you, let me know. And as part of that, if you also would like to make money right now, but you are not in the Partner Program, so you're like, man, I got a ways to go before I can start, before I generate my first dollar here, I got a ways to go. If that's you, just let me know in the chat right now. Okay, so we've got some coming in. Okay, so if you're trying to get into the Partner Program and you want to earn money, keep in mind that there's a lot more ways to earn money on YouTube than just ads. So a lot of people, especially when they're starting out on YouTube, they think that the only way to get paid on YouTube is through YouTube advertising. That is not the case in any way, shape, or form. So if you are not in the Partner Program on YouTube, you can still make a substantial amount of money before you even get into the Partner Program, before you even meet the requirements for the Partner Program. So some people, they'll get that 1,000 subscribers fast, but it's going to take them a long time to get that 4,000 hours. Some people will get that 4,000 hours watch time, but they won't get a lot of subscribers quickly. So they think to themselves like, man, people are coming in, I'm getting all these views, but people are just not subscribing. They stress out about it, think it's going to take them forever to make money. However, here's what you can do. So if you write books, like in this situation here with Crazy Kid 949, if you write books like they do, then what you can do, and I know everybody's not writing books, but I'm just using this as an example real quick. But if somebody's, writing books and they want to promote their own stuff, and if you write anything, if you make a PDF about a game, like these are all the places in the new Fortnite update to get all the stuff, and you want to sell that for $5 on your channel.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
And you want to sell that on your YouTube channel, you can. You can put that link in your description. The only rules that YouTube has about that is you have to make sure that the link that you're putting into your description, that it's going to a safe place. So you cannot have it going to like a malware site or anything like weird like that. Everything has to be on the up and up, so to speak. So because of that, you can put links to like Sellfy or to Buy Me a Coffee, where they might be able to download it there, or Patreon, or like anywhere where you sell it, even your own website. You can do that. So one thing, if you do have your own website, it can be helpful to also make sure that it's an HTTPS on the site, just so it's a little bit more secure as well. That'll just make it look a little bit better in the case somebody's looking at it. But the idea is that you can link to anything as long as it's within the YouTube community guidelines. As long as it's compliant with the community guidelines, you can link to anything in your description. So when it comes to you making money from your YouTube channel, even if you're not in the Partner Program, you can link to Amazon if you can get approved for their affiliate program. You can talk about products on Amazon, or at the very least list the gear that you have or something like that, if the people that are watching your videos would be interested in the gear. But if you are making like fishing content or golfing content or medical content or cooking content or anything where there's any type of product that you use to do any aspect of your content, they sell those types of products on Amazon most likely, and they have an affiliate program there to where you can sign up for it. And if you put that in your description, a link to it, then you can let people know, oh, hey, this coffee cup, by the way, if you like really good coffee cups, this one's huge, and it is, by the way. But yeah, like, you can get these on Amazon. You can't get this one. This is a StreamYard one. But the idea is that in your content, you can just let people know, hey, I got links to this in the description, by the way. It's awesome. I love it. That's why you see it in all my videos. I got links in the description. And then if somebody clicks on it and they go to Amazon and they make a purchase within 24 hours, it doesn't even have to be the thing that you recommended. You can make money. So in addition to that, there are tons of affiliate programs all over the internet for all kinds of different things. So if you make any type of content, there's a really good chance there's something that you can sell as an affiliate through that content. And the win with that is that if you start publishing videos today, let's say that you get to the point to where your videos are getting 5,000 views per video, or we'll say 1,000 views per video. The amount of ad revenue that you're going to generate from 1,000 views is going to be relatively low. However, 1,000 views for the right affiliate thing, that can end up creating a substantial amount of income for you, as long as the conversion is like halfway decent. Because if they, with ad revenue, you have like the limited amount that you get from YouTube ads, but with affiliate revenue, like you can generate that money for a really long time to come, depending on the price point, depending on if it's recurring or not, things like that. Like one customer to an affiliate offer can generate more money than everything that you generate from AdSense from a video that you're getting like, 10,000 or 20,000 or 50,000 views on. So just keep that in mind when it comes to that. Now, in addition to that, there's also the merch side of things. Like, for example, the merch I'm wearing today, this is from my homie Owen Video. It says make stuff and sell it. And with this merch, basically the idea with merch or with, any content creator, is you can go, even if you're not in the YouTube partner program right now, you can go over to spreadshop.com or spreadshirt.com. You can go over there, you can create a merch store for yourself. All you have to do is either hop on Fiverr or somewhere on the internet and have somebody make some graphics for you, or you can do it in an app yourself. And as you are doing that, once you have the designs, you just upload them into Spreadshop. And then when those designs are inside of Spreadshop, then you can take that link to your store and you can put it down in the description. And then anybody that goes there and they end up buying your merch, then you get a percentage of that merch. So, it like all you have to think about is, okay, I'm not in the partner program now, but I want to start making money quickly. So therefore, what types of things are available? So you have merch, you have affiliate marketing, you have your own products or services that you can create, and services are a fast way to like really get on the horse, so to speak, when it comes to, generating income from YouTube. For me, services was the thing that allowed me to create that bridge in order to help me go full-time on YouTube, was offering services. Christina Smallhorn in the house saying happy 4th of July. It's tomorrow. Yes, it is. We talked about that earlier in the stream. Thank you for the heads up. You're like the holiday fairy that comes in like right before holidays. Like, hey everybody, just as a reminder, it's Mother's Day, it's Father's Day, it's happy 4th of July. So thank you for that. Super appreciated. You saved my tail on the Mother's Day one. So happy 4th of July to you and every other American that's hanging out here as well. But basically, when it comes to Spreadshop, it just doesn't cost you anything. So one of the things that Daniel Batal says here is the great thing about Spreadshop is that it doesn't cost you a penny to make the merch and to set up a store. So like as you're doing, all of that, you're basically putting out nothing but, the time it's going to take you to put it together in order to get the return of anybody that buys your merch. Then you'll get money for those sales. But on the product or service side, that's also a very fast way to be able to, to start making money from YouTube fast or just social media in general. There's also crowdfunding, which is like, people donating through Buy Me a Coffee, Patreon, that type of thing. Ko-Fi is another one. And with all those services, you just have to think of like, what can you offer in exchange for, people donating you? Like, what can you offer off platform? In addition to that, depending on the type of content that you have, there's also places like uscreen.tv. With Uscreen, you can set up like a whole course over there, and then people can go over there and they can just buy like a video at a time, or they can buy like a whole monthly subscription, or like however it is that you want to set it up. So there's like all kinds of different ways that you can make money, even if you're not in the YouTube partner program. In fact, some people, they'll make so much money on the other stuff that they won't even run ads on their channel because they don't want to interrupt a potential sale by showing them an ad. So, and I'll say that again, they don't want to interrupt a person potentially buying their product, service, or affiliate thing they're promoting or whatever it happens to be. So they won't even run ads on their channel. They'll be in the partner program so they can turn off, competitors advertising on their videos and all that, but they won't even advertise, or they won't even run ads on their own content because they do not want that barrier between somebody coming in and possibly getting derailed and them getting like a couple of cents for that particular ad view compared to getting, hundreds or in some cases thousands of dollars for whatever affiliate sale. So keep those things in mind. Let's see here. So as we keep on going down the list, we've got Dave's Countryside Walks. And just a heads up too, like even with my stuff, like on my YouTube channel, my YouTube channel ad revenue is pretty much, I'm not going to say non-existent, but I mean, it's extremely low. The ad revenue that I get on my YouTube channel with my type of content. And like, that's perfectly okay with me. Like for me, that is money that I use to like, pay for help and like that kind of stuff. So, there's a place for the ad revenue if you want to, have it. But there's much more lucrative ways to make money. Yeah, Daniel right here saying, I've had coaching clients give up $60,000 in yearly AdSense because they make so much more in website conversion. Yeah, without question. So let's see here. So next up on the list here, we've got Dave's Countryside Walks. Says that they channel is come walk with me and my dogs. And the goal of the channel is to grow views and add an income stream. And the question is, I upload to YouTube in 4K. The files are huge. Absolutely they are. Welcome to YouTube. At the moment, YouTube only broadcasts in 2K. Is it worth for me continuing to film 4K in case YouTube technology improves in the future? YouTube does do 4K as well. So they do 4K, they do 8K as well. So just make sure that when you are exporting your files, that you're also exporting in 4K as well. Because if you upload 4K, they will provide 4K. If you are exporting in 8K, they'll provide 8K. If you're only exporting up to 1080p, then they'll only provide that. So they will put out the 4K. You'll be fine. You just have to make sure that what you're uploading to them is 4K. Aaron's Church of Lego Building Fun. What's up, Aaron? Hope that you're doing awesome. Hope that your back is doing better. Says the goal of the channel is to earn money and become popular. And the question is, YouTube Studio says that other videos are recommending my content, but the videos that were not uploaded until before I even started my channel. So what does this mean? So just because you have a new video doesn't mean YouTube is not going to recommend it on older content. So keep in mind that, and D also mentioned that viewer resolution limits depend on your device as well. Yeah, thanks for that, D. So when it comes to YouTube recommending your content, people are constantly watching content that has been on YouTube for a decade, that has been on YouTube for a day, that has been on YouTube for the last hour, that has been on YouTube for everything in between. So when you are publishing your content, what the system is doing is it's testing it against all these different places, trying to figure out, where's a good fit for it based on, the content people are interacting with. In addition to that, some of your viewers might be watching, some other video on YouTube. It could be an older video. It could be a video from like a really big creator, something like that. And you'll see their content show up in your recommended list as well, because some of your viewers are watching their content. Therefore, they're going to recommend some of your content, next to them in order to be in front of the people that are already interacting with your content in the first place. And then therefore, you'll end up getting a suggested view or a handful of suggested views from there from the people that are interacting with that content as well. So that's what's going on. Next on our list, we've got Old Wolf Tech says, I need a spreadsheet. What do you need a spreadsheet for? See here. So next up, we've got Wayland Smalley. Wayland Smalley says that they do gardening, how-to, and vlog content. The goal is to share information and make a little money. And the question is, what is the best subtitle translation program? I have 3 countries that watch, and I want to increase the engagement. So program-wise, I'm not for sure, but I do know that Rev.com, that's who I use to caption my videos. They also do translations as well. Learning more in 10 minutes than I've been trying on my own. Hey, welcome to the stream, Old Wolf Tech. Yeah, so basically I have, just as a heads up, Old Wolf Tech, since you're enjoying the information shared here today, on my YouTube channel, if you go to my playlist page, I have one playlist that is just an archive of these live streams. So if you're getting a lot from this and you just want to listen to it like in the background or whatever, just to kind of, get the information in there, there's just like a ton. Like I've been live streaming almost every Saturday for like probably 5 years now. So just the amount of of information that's available is pretty intense. But if you just look for that playlist on the YouTube live stream, I think it's called like YouTube Tips Live Stream is the name of that playlist. Then you'll get tons of this content. I also have a podcast you can listen to called Comments Over Coffee. You can find that on all your favorite streaming platforms, and these live streams as well. We're also putting these up onto podcasting platforms as well. So in addition to here, they're on a delay over there. But in addition to here, you can also find them on your favorite podcasting platforms as well, if you just look for Nimmin Live. So next up, did we do Wayland Smalley already? Yeah, we did Wayland Smalley. So really quick, Hazilio says, I'm a close affiliate artist to a huge TX rap group wanting to tap into more of the fan base. So I'm a close affiliate artist to a huge Texas rap group wanting to tap in more to the fan base. Yeah, so then in that case, like in your particular case itself, I would definitely, like if you're wanting to leverage YouTube to grow yourself as an artist, to represent Texas, so to speak, or to tap into the Texas, fan base there, then in that case, yeah, I would definitely hit up Daniel. But even within that, just remember that, as a YouTube content creator, you'll definitely be, if you're from Texas, you'll definitely be representing them. But with YouTube being a global platform, you might end up, blowing up in some other part of the world just because you're putting your efforts out onto YouTube. So let's see here. So really quick. So Dr. Refer Ramen says, hey Nick, I got my silver play button within 6 months by following your tips and tricks. Thank you so much. High five and fist bump to you for getting your silver play button. Congratulations to you. And by doing that in 6 months, I'm going to guess that you're going to be at 1 million really fast. So nice work to you. Congratulations for that, for crushing it on getting started here and just coming in with heat and getting your play button quickly. Congratulations to you for that. That's huge. 6 months. Whoo, that's fantastic. Okay, so next up on our list here, we've got I Crave Network, and it's spelled with an EYE. And the type of channel is movie review and interviews. And the goal of the channel is to review the latest movies, 4K UHD, Blu-rays, and interviews with key players in the movie industry. Question: if your channel is small, should you mention stuff like buy me a coffee in your videos to start generating income? Absolutely. So here's the thing. So there was a guy, he made content. I don't even know if he's still making videos anymore. I'm actually going to look because I'm curious. But his YouTube channel is called Trago. The first time I ran across him, somebody actually posted something about him in a subreddit. It was like a filmmaking subreddit. And I went to subreddit, or I went to his YouTube channel, and the very first video, I was mesmerized. I was like, wow, the way that he puts these together, the information is great, the voiceover, everything was great. So not only did I subscribe, I started supporting him on Patreon, and I still support him on Patreon, but I just noticed he hasn't uploaded in 6 months. So I'll change that. But he's got 17,000 subscribers, and he's only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's only got 18 videos on his channel, but his content's so good. He's got 17,000 subscribers. If he would have kept going, he would have, if he would have kept going, then he would have a gold play button very quickly. But unfortunately, it looks like he's stopped. But anyway, as a small content creator, having the Buy Me a Coffees available, Patreon's available, those types of things, focus on one, of course, because you don't want to be like, hey, here's all these different things, so just go to all of them. Just focus on one and then try to, get people over there. But absolutely, you can do that as a small channel, and I actually even recommend it. And the reason I recommend it is because, you might have somebody that watches your very first video that just loves what you do and they want to support you the whole ride. So because of that, absolutely make it available, because for some people, the way that they, show appreciation for that content creator is through, those types of things where they support them in that way. The KMH family Super Chat says, hey Nick, hope all is well. It is. Thank you. Hope all is well with you also. Says, just wanted to say thank you so much for the advice and tips on my daughter's channel. I truly appreciate you, your time and energy. Hannity. Hey, high five this month to you. Thank you for that. Glad that you enjoyed the information there. I'm assuming what you're talking about is the channel review that we did in the members group. So yeah, so awesome to see that, you're taking that information and run with it. Absolutely love it. So next question that we have here on the list today is from Idlina Vose Learning. I think I'm saying that correctly. Just as a quick fun thing, just a quick heads up, I'm surprised to this day that I'm aware of, nobody's tried to like Bart Simpson me on the channel names here. I'm waiting for that to happen. You know how he would like call into the bar and he would always say all those like ridiculous names and he'd fall for it. Like that would have been a great opportunity is what made me think about it. But anyway, they do cooking content. The goal of the channel is to help Greek expats cook traditional meals. That's cool. I uploaded a number of very short shorts, and they seem to have shifted my audience. Now I get over 70% lower views on my standard shorts. What do I do to get my performance back? So keep in mind, you said that you had, 15 standard shorts, 15 inches, and they seem to have shifted by audience. So if you start using YouTube Shorts and it shifts your audience and you get 70% lower views on your other shorts, then what could be happening is that old shorts could just be like losing relevance. They could just be older, therefore that, the people that they're testing against aren't as 15 seconds. Okay. They're just not as an ideal, fit anymore or anything like that. Because, people will respond, different people respond better to, longer stuff. Some people respond better to shorter stuff and things like that. So because of that, just start making the other stuff that you were doing before in order to, see if you can, get yourself back on the right path. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, we've got, let's see here. Yep. Hydrate. Thank you for that, Chantel. I will.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
So next up, we've got Chaos. Cool channel name. Chaos says gaming and commentary. The goal of the channel says I want to entertain people and support myself and family. And the question is, hey man, since I last was here, the last theme park guy, I was the theme park guy, and I've gotten 2,000 views in a month, way more than before. And I wanted to ask if I should expand on my theme park content more than reviews, commentaries, or should I stick to my same content for a while? What I recommend you do is I recommend that you figure out what content it is that you enjoy the most and that you enjoy making the most, that you enjoy putting out the most, and that you can commit to for the next, few years, and that you start doubling down on that content. That's what I recommend you do. And the reason for that is because sustainability on YouTube is no joke. Burnout is no joke. And you need to make sure that you are making content about something that you want to be known for, something that you can embrace for, at least a decent amount of time into the future, so that you can build up your channel as the resource for that type of content, instead of being like, hey, I'm going to do this for a bit, and then I'm going to do this for a bit, because it's starting to do well, and I'm going to do this for a bit. So then that way, what you do is you say, I'm going to make content for these type of people based on the type of content that I like. And I'm just going to do everything that I possibly can to give them the best content that I can provide them. Next
question.
Shiny Generation says, oh, D said that we are getting close to crossing 1,000. Here, hold on really quick. What did he say there? Yeah, we have 1.87 thousand subscribers on the Creator Mix channel. I'm not sure what the 1,000 is that you mentioned there, D. Oh, maybe it's the watch time. I bet it's the watch time that you're talking about. So, hey, just a heads up. One thing that I do want to let you know, and I've got a little tag for it right up here at the top of the screen, but you can also see it on the TV right now. But we have a resource for YouTube content creators. It's a free music resource, doesn't cost you anything to use it. And basically you can use it in the background of your streams. I just put a link to the YouTube channel here in the chat right now, and I'm actually going to pin this. But basically, it's called Creator Mix, and you can find everything you need at creatormix.com. But the thing is you can go to creatormix.com/stream. And then once you get to that, it's going to allow you to pick your favorite streaming platforms. You can either listen to Creator Mix music in the background, or you can listen to it in the background of your live streams like right now. In fact, the lo-fi playlist that you hear in the background of this live stream right now, I have a direct link to that in the description as well. So if you just like listening to the lo-fi music, then that's a great playlist. You can just add it to your Spotify or whatever, and then you can just listen to it as part of what it is that you do. But if you want to use the music in your videos, you can do that. Just go to creatormix.com, create an account over there, and then you can go ahead and start downloading right away. You can also start using the music in the backgrounds of your live streams right away as well. So definitely make sure that you check that out when you get the chance. So let's see here. So next up on our list, we got Shiny Generation. It's a good generation. It says they do gaming content. They want to be monetized and working hard to entertain people too. Question is, I've watched YouTube education channels and I know that you always want a niche, but if I play Minecraft and Roblox, does it count as a niche, or should I only focus on one game? So with this one, I would focus on one game to get momentum. And then once I started getting some good momentum, and I was like, okay, I'm getting a good average view counts. Everything's going in the direction that I want. I'm getting, a good subscriber growth that I'm comfortable with. I'm hitting all these little goals that I'm trying to hit. Then in that case, that's where I would start thinking okay, I'm going to push this just a little bit more, just to kind of solidify. And then I'm going to start testing. Hey, I'm going to drop in this Roblox video and see how people respond to that. Then if they respond well to that, maybe I'll do those on occasion. Then if they respond to both of those, now I'm going to drop another type of game in here and see how they respond to that. And then, over time, you just want to start testing in that way to see the games that people do and don't respond to on your channel. JRP Official says, been trying to do lo-fi 808s. Oh my God, my ears. Nice. Love it. So let's see here. So as we keep on going, we've got Fash God's Kid is the name of the channel here. It's KIDD. And the type of channel is entertainment, freestyle, shorts, music, public influencer, human services. And the goal of the channel is to give back, add wisdom to our new generation, and bridging social gaps. And the question is, do you really see a big future in shorts? I just watched your other vid with new YouTube updates. Do you really believe a shorts maker should really focus there, sacrificing watch time? So here's the thing. I'm glad you brought this up because, people haven't really, mentioned this here on the stream. So this is kind of a new one here. So I'm glad you brought this up. So when it comes to shorts, everybody that's doing shorts channels, and right now you're like, hey, I'm not getting ads on my videos. The only thing I got is the shorts fund. It kind of sucks. Keep in mind that that's how it is right now, but in the future, you will be able to monetize those in other ways, through ads and those sorts of things. In addition to that, if you're a shorts content creator, what you should be doing is you should be uploading to YouTube Shorts, like make your original vertical file, export it, right? So you have that file to upload. You should be uploading it to YouTube Shorts. You should be uploading it to Instagram Reels. You should be uploading it to TikTok. You should be uploading it everywhere that has a vertical platform attached to it. And the reason that you should do that is because if you just upload to YouTube, then you're waiting for YouTube to start showing ads on those shorts. But you can go ahead and start monetizing that stuff like right away once you hit the requirements on TikTok. Same thing with Instagram. So because of that, while you're waiting for YouTube to get on the bus there, continue growing your channel, continue putting out content so the system knows, hey, when they put out this content, that it's good. We show it to people a lot. People really love it. So the system can get familiar with counting on your shorts for a good viewer experience. Keep doing that, but also upload them to the other platforms as well so that you can go ahead and just start making money off them now while YouTube is getting their act together with running ads on YouTube Shorts. That's what I would do in that situation, because I actually started doing that yesterday because I was like, you know what, this YouTube news update, I'm going to update. I'm just going to, like, I had the live stream that I did. And then after the live stream, I quickly downloaded it from StreamYard because you can do that with StreamYard because they record everything in the background. So downloaded it from StreamYard after my stream yesterday, threw it into my computer, spit out actually cut out a bunch of ums and ahs because I did it real quick and messy. So I was a little bit all over the place in the presentation. So I went through and I cut out some of those, and then I uploaded the video to LinkedIn, and then I uploaded a video to TikTok in the vertical format, and then I uploaded a video to, I think it was Instagram Reels, or maybe just into Instagram as well. But the idea is, like, if you have content that is good for multiple platforms, you're kind of working against yourself if you don't give yourself the opportunity to monetize on those other platforms while you're waiting for YouTube monetization to come in. Because you might have one video that puts you on the map on TikTok, and you end up with a large following on TikTok while you're getting your YouTube channel going, and you might be able to transfer some of that audience through your bio directly over to your YouTube channel to help your YouTube channel grow as well. So because of that, if you are making vertical content, I really recommend that you start putting it everywhere for the sake of just seeing where people respond to it, because you might end up blowing up on like Instagram Reels and TikTok while you're trying to get your YouTube channel going. Now, with that in mind, one of the things that's always important to do is to, just kind of look at the opportunities in the future and the threats in the future and things like that. And, there's been a couple of attacks towards TikTok. So in terms of putting like all your eggs in that basket, probably not the best idea. That's why I'm saying to upload it there, grow your audience there and all that if you want to, but also keep uploading to YouTube Shorts as well, because for the long term, like, YouTube's got to be here for quite some time. So unless there's some weird legal thing that happens or something like that, that will end up affecting everybody, then YouTube's going to, end up being here for quite some time. So because of that, I look at YouTube as the most stable thing. That's why I focus on it. And then the other places are places that are just great to, be able to grab that attention, but you can also monetize. Some people, and D and I were talking about this the other day. D has people in his members group that are making way more money on Facebook uploading their content there than they are on YouTube. So, there are other options for you. But YouTube, in terms of, like long term, like YouTube's going to be here for a while. D says laughs in my space. Yeah. Totally different world at that point in time. Yeah, and D mentioned here his third video on TikTok got over 1 million views, just being that third video. So yeah, like when you start putting your content out there like that, it just gives you more opportunity to achieve the things that you're trying to do faster. So if like one of the things that you're trying to do is generate income from it, then you should be trying to generate income from all the places where you can generate income, and all it's going to take is just a few extra minutes to upload it to those platforms, fill out the descriptions, and so on. The Aqua Adventurer says, hey, Nick, I'm a small YouTuber trying to gain momentum. What is your top 3 must-dos? 1, understand your audience. 2, understand what it is that you want out of what it is. Let me talk about that one for a second. Okay. So the very first is you want to understand your audience. And what I mean by understand your audience is you want to make sure that you are extremely clear on who it is that you're trying to reach with your content. As soon as you get clear on who it is that you're trying to reach with your content, then what's going to happen is it's going to help you be able to more understand the topics that they care about. It's going to help you be able to reach them better through the imagery. It's going to help you be able to title your videos better to resonate better with those people that you're trying to reach based on the things that they care about. In addition to that, when you're putting your video content together, you're going to be able to adjust all of that based on, you know, the audience that you're trying to reach. So for example, if you're trying to reach like an older group of people that are interested in like one thing, then in that case, you might need to slow everything down a little bit. If you're trying to reach that like youth generation, then in that case, you might want to speed things up a little bit, be cutting things all the time, have stuff flashing and text on the screen all the time and all that stuff. Go the Mr. Beast route essentially. But like, you know, like when you know who it is that you're trying to reach, it just helps you be able to dial things in a much better way. And then the second thing, of course, is to make sure that you know what you want out of your efforts. And the reason for that is because it keeps you on track and keeps you focused on the right things. So a lot of times people will come onto YouTube and all they care about subscriber counts. So when they start caring only about their subscriber counts, they get that tunnel vision, and all they can think about is like, I need to make sure that I'm keeping the subscriber counter going up every single month, and that I'm, you know, I'm getting some type of upward trajectory. But the thing that they're not thinking about as much is like, hey, how do I keep people watching videos for a longer period of time? How do I add more value to people? Because they're focused on what they're getting from the subscriber count. But and then, you know, for some people that come on to this, you know, as like a marketer or something like that, like they're just coming here to make money. So then in that particular case, like the metrics they need to make sure that they're focused on is like, okay, how is YouTube converting into these different things that I'm, you know, that I monetize, or my business, or whatever the thing is. So when you know what it is that you want out of it, and you know who it is you're trying to reach, you have one way. The first one helps you better reach those people and serve them in the best possible way. The second thing helps you make sure that you're tracking all of the right things in order to make sure that you are growing in the areas that you're trying to grow. So those are two. The third is to constantly educate yourself and constantly be working on your skill sets involved with doing everything here. And what that means is constantly trying to figure out how to present your videos better, figuring out how to edit your videos better, getting better understandings of your software, trying different software to see if you find something that works better and faster for you with your workflow, making sure that you are watching tutorials on making thumbnails, and that you're studying the results that you get from your thumbnails, making sure that you're watching videos on writing titles or just copywriting in general, so you can get into like how to actually, you know, compel somebody to do something through a title, those sorts of things. But like educating yourself is definitely the number 3 there. So basically knowing who you're making content for, knowing what it is that you're wanting out of it, so that you have that reason and the motivation for your efforts, and so you're tracking the right things. And then of course continuing to educate yourself and develop your skill set so that you can continue, you know, moving the ball forward over time. Next up, we've got Sean Glaze.
Super chat.
Thanks for the super chat. Sean says, before you have 1,000 subs on YouTube, does it matter about having copyrighted material since you can't make money from it right now? Yes, it does. So even though you're not monetized on YouTube, YouTube does still show ads on your videos, if you opt in or not. As somebody that's not monetized, that's just the right that YouTube has because it's their platform. So they show ads on your videos, even if you're not monetized. But in addition to that, a copyright strike, even if you're not in the partner program, you know, if you get 3 of those, then your channel's gone. So because of that, you definitely want to make sure that you are being, you know, cautious. But copyright claims are usually the more popular option. Like that's what usually happens to people when they're using, you know, music they shouldn't be using. But copyright claims don't have as big of an impact unless it's just a staggering amount of claims on your channel as you reach the monetization. Because once you reach monetization, it doesn't happen automatically. You actually get approved, which means that there's going to be somebody that looks at your channel and that looks at, you know, the strikes that you have or the claims you have, things like that. And then they are going to make the call on if you're going to get into the partner program or not. So always trying to keep things as clean as possible is the route that you want to go. Let's see here. So Leviathan says, how long have you been making content? A long time, but my first YouTube video I uploaded in September of 2014. So I was making it a little bit before that because I made my first 10 videos before I uploaded my first one. Unfortunately, I ended up losing like 8 of them in a motorbike accident, but and I had to redo them. But I made my first 10 before I published my first one. Coach Sherry is our next
Next question.
They upload when they have time. They've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do business and career advice and everyday life vlog. The goal of the channel is to motivate others. And the question is, after time and you notice a video not getting traction, does renaming it help? It can. Here's the thing, it can also hurt, is because when you publish a video to YouTube, everything is based on response. right? So YouTube is going to show your content to people on the platform, and based on how those people respond is going to determine if they're going to continue showing it to people, or if they're going to pause it for a little bit or just reduce it and then start showing it to more people, in other places later, whatever. But how people respond in different places is going to determine if your videos keep getting shown there to particular types of viewers or not. So in terms of if you're not getting traction on a video, it could be that your title and thumbnail just aren't compelling. They're just not doing the trick for you. So then if you update those, in some cases, it can help you get, more views on those videos, get a higher click-through rate, and get the ball moving on that video. In other cases, it can actually work in the other direction and make it perform even worse because the changes that you made to it cause for a even lesser human response. So because of that, when you do go in and you start making those changes, just keep in mind, it's all based on how people respond once those changes are made. Let's see here. So next up on our list, we have Life Pro X. Life Pro X, they do travel and reviews mostly. The goal of the channel says, I enjoy making videos. And the question is, can a channel be successful so they don't have a niche or focus? Absolutely they can. It's just typically a lot more difficult, typically takes a lot more time. And the reason for that is because when you make a channel about a bunch of different stuff, then what happens is the channel isn't good for anybody, which then hurts the subscribability of the channel. So what happens is you create just a bunch of random stuff. It's really hard for people to binge watch your content, and it's really hard to keep people coming back to your channel. So if it's just everything's random, you can, and some channels can grow. Like all you need is just a handful of videos to perform well, and it can get you a play button. But the idea is just long-term sustainability, right? So like I've got one video on my channel that's driven over 60,000 subscribers, right? So in your case, if you had just a bunch of random content and you had like 2 of those videos, you'd have a play button if 2 of those videos were in the mix. The downside is that if you grow your YouTube channel on content like that, and then you have all this other random stuff, then, keeping people engaged in everything that you're doing is very difficult. And in addition to that, it also makes sponsorships difficult, because if you're just making random content, you're throwing a bunch of stuff out there and it's not really for anybody in general, it's just like, hey, we're just putting stuff out there, then in that case, it also makes it really hard for a sponsor to see the value in exactly what it is that you're doing, because you don't have a clear audience either. So because of that, you can grow channels that way without question. It's just extremely challenging. So and can take you a longer time. A+ Russian, dropping the question in here.
Next question.
A+ Russian says that they're best performing. They offer a unique way of learning Russian to those who are interested. And the question is, my best performing video lessons by far are the ones where I react to other English-speaking creators from Russia. These aren't necessarily channels in my niche, but are definitely on the other channels my audience watches list. About half of them agree with, and the other half I do not, because of their approval of Russia's involvement in Ukraine. My viewers seem to want to hear about both, but I don't feel 100% comfortable being openly judgmental. Any advice on how to make these reaction lessons without coming off across overly negative? So this is a really good question. And I'm just going to give my personal, thoughts on this one. One thing that I try really hard to do, even though I do have, strong, I wouldn't say strong, but even though I have opinions about it, is I try not to publicly just put that stuff out there, because, at scale, people have their own opinions about stuff, and, like what I say, about, what I think about, the new thing that was just taken, that was just the Supreme Court just did in the States, or what's happening in the Ukraine, any of that stuff. By sharing my opinions there's going to be some people that agree, some people that disagree, but for what it is that I offer, that has nothing to do with what it is that I offer. So in your case, so that's why I don't, that's why I'm not on Twitter, ranting about, what's going on in the world, unless it's something related to, YouTube or social media, because that's, the stuff that matters to the people that, that I'm interacting with, the most, or at least that's, what they're, all you. Right? Like you're here learning about YouTube and, hanging out with each other and all of that. And, this is what you're here for. You're not here to, talk about that kind of stuff. So because of that, I just stay focused on what it is that, that you want to talk about here, because, I'm not trying to catch fires in the chat, and try to get everybody engaged by talking about, controversial things. But if you are also along that line, which is what I'm getting from, the comment that you mentioned here, if you're in that similar boat in terms of hey, I'm trying to just teach people, the language and, all those other things. Yes, they're happening. Yes, they're things that, we need to be mindful of. And yes, they're horrible. However, that they're coming to me to learn the language. So therefore, what I'm going to do, and again, this is my opinion, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach them the language without all that other stuff involved. So in your case, if you're doing reactions to some of those other teachers, keep in mind, you might want to be selective. And the reason you might want to be selective is because if you do have people that you do disagree with on some of that stuff, which trust me, I have a lot of those too. If you have people that you disagree with on, some of those things, then in that case, you might not want to be the person shining the light on them and causing people to go and subscribe to them, because depending on, your views and all that stuff, in some cases, if people do start, walking down that path based on you introducing them to that person, and then that person gets inside of their head and starts making them think, in a way that maybe you possibly don't agree with or whatever, then in that particular case, then, you've kind of orchestrated that whole thing happening. So because of that, you just might want to be mindful about who it is that you're reacting to based on, like, hey, if I'm sending my people over to this person or putting the spotlight on this person, then anybody that might go over there and follow them, I want to make sure that they're at least in alignment with the way that I view things, for the sake of, not leading somebody down that path, so to speak. So, I'm in the same boat though. Like there's people that, that I watched during, everything that's happened here over the last couple of years that I've watched, and I just think, some to where I'm like, okay, like now I just understand a little bit more, about some people. But let's see here. So D says, yeah, this is a good one too. I'm actually pinning this one. He also mentions here, it's not required to make a statement on every event that's happening everywhere in the world. And as a part of that too, like, there's the stuff that, that's happening on the news, and then there's the stuff that's not that's happening, but that's not on the news. So, that stuff that's happening that's not on the news is probably more worth conversation than a lot of the stuff that is happening, that the news mostly covers. Okay, let's move on. So next up on the list, we've got the Farley Burge Zone says, what advice would you give to a comedian, dog walker, vlogger? Be funny. So of course, that's it's an obvious one, but definitely, being funny, because if you want people to follow you as a comedian, then that's of course going to be number one. And then in addition to that, I also recommend that if you are going to be a comedian, that you focus on being a comedian. And maybe with the dog walking side, I'm not sure how you're mixing that in unless you're making jokes about, about the dog walking scenario. But one thing that can be really beneficial to people that are doing content like yours is trends. So for example, if something, major happens, or just something of interest happens, either in like pop culture or to celebrities essentially, or any movies that come out, things like that, making parodies of things, making jokes about those types of things that just have that heightened amount of interest around them, is very advantageous for people that are good at comedy. So I really recommend that you go to trends.google.com. As long as this is in alignment with, the way that you want to present yourself and, do your comedy. But one thing that can be helpful is if you go to trends, I got to do this again. It just prompted me again. I'm just seeing what happens here. So bear with me here. I'm doing the ad insert real quick. So here we go. So some of you saw this. Yep. Says ads inserted. So yeah. So some of you saw that. Others, did not. But I just did it again. So, here we are. So this is the only stream I'm going to do that, by the way, because I'm just not a fan of just kind of interrupting the whole thing for the sake of, YouTube ads. But I'm just kind of testing this feature, so just bear with me. But in terms of, the comedy stuff, so what you want to do is you want to go to trends.google.com. And then from there, what you can do is you can go into... Now see, it's causing a viewer experience problem. So Chantel says, now I have to refresh to keep up. Yep. So that's why I'm not going to continue to do it in the other, like on a regular basis. But anyway, when it comes to your comedy, if you go to trends.google.com, that's basically their area to where it shows all of the search trends that are happening on google.com and on youtube.com. And what you can do is you can narrow that down by country, you can narrow it down by date range. And then there's also like, these are the things that are trending right now based on the location that you choose. So what you can do from a comedy perspective is you can look at those things and be like, okay, what could I make jokes about that would be a good fit for the people that I'm trying to reach? And the reason that the people that you're trying to reach is important is because if you make jokes about, like, let's say some drama that's happening with like some gaming company, but you're not trying to reach gamers, then in that case, that's not going to put you in front of the right people. But if you're making jokes about some, like, let's say that you did it during the Johnny Depp thing as an example, and you're making jokes about that, and you're wanting to get in front of people that care about celebrities, you know, that whole thing, then in that case, then, you know, making jokes about that would be a great fit, because then that way you'd be able to capture that audience that's interested in celebrities. So, so just thinking of it from the perspective of, I'm going to use trends, but then I'm going to think about first, who is it that I'm trying to reach with my content, so that I can make sure that the things that I do make my comedy about based around the trends that I'm covering is going to be a good fit for a certain type of viewer, so that every video that I make, they can come in and enjoy it based on the things that they care about or that they enjoy, but that I also add comedy to. So that would be the approach that I would take in that case. That'd be the first thing I would try, I should say. King Pookie Nation Alvarez says, I stream MLB games and play. Any advice to get more subs? Absolutely. So a couple things to think about if you are streaming games is, when you live stream a game, you are basically dependent on people enjoying that game during your live stream or to enjoy it on the replay. Therefore, a majority of the activity is probably going to happen on the replay. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to make sure that as you're recording your stream, that you're thinking about the replay value. So a big problem that happens when it comes to you know, people live streaming is that they will stream and they'll start the beginning of their stream with like countdown timers, these big shout out sessions and all this stuff, and they won't really reset the room if they're trying to use it to, you know, to grow their channel. Like, that's the main content that they're doing. So what'll happen is they'll have all of this stuff in the beginning that will just destroy the replay. So as soon as somebody comes in, it's like, oh, I got to wait through all this stuff in order to get to what I actually came in here for, so I'm out of here. So what you want to make sure that you're doing is that you're thinking of it through the lens of that replay, and thinking of it through the lens of, if somebody comes into this and they are interacting, you know, with this, how can I capture their attention right at the beginning? A proven way to do that is, as soon as your stream starts, put a challenge out and say, in this stream, what we're trying to do, or in this video, I'm trying to accomplish X, Y, Z. And the reason that you want to do this is because it creates that challenge, right? It kind of gives the idea of like, hey, this is the thing that I'm trying to accomplish, instead of like, hey, I'm just playing the game. There's no direction, right? There's no target here. There's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just playing the game, come and hang out. There's a time and place for that. But if you're trying to use the content to grow the channel, then in that case, you need people to commit at the beginning of it so they'll watch the rest of it on the replay. So at the very beginning, you want to make sure that you're telling people like, hey, this is what I'm trying to accomplish in the game. I'm trying to beat, you know, this game in as little moves as possible, or I'm trying to beat it in as little time as possible, or I'm trying to beat it with a certain handicap, or whatever the thing is. You know, you want to have some type of challenge at the beginning of it in order to get the viewers, you know, committed to it. Other things you can do as well is, depending on the topics, is you can say you're doing MLB. So it's a little bit different. But you know, if you were doing like open world games, for example, you can say things like, you know, hey, in this video, we're going to go through and I'm going to show you like all the places in the game where we can find all the best loot. And then like, that's the hook of the video. So then if you're into those games, you want to find out where all those good drop boxes are and all that, then you can be like, hey, I'm just going to go, I'm going to watch this, you know, particular thing, this replay, and I'm going to, you know, go find out where all those boxes are. So just make sure that you're putting whatever value they're going to get at the beginning. But in addition to that, you also want to make sure that that as you're continuing the stream, that you also keep trying to re-engage people for the replay and for the live viewership as well. So for the replay, tell people to, you know, hey, in the comments, let me know X, Y, Z, and you want to ask them questions that they can, you know, answer in the comments based on the game you're playing. Same exact thing that you would do in the live stream as well, but you want to try to keep people engaged through the whole thing. Another thing you might want to do as well is, if your streams are typically longer, then let's say that your streams are like 30 minutes or an hour, it can also be advantageous to find highlights of the game. Or when you're going in to stream it, thinking in advance, like, I'm going to be showing these things, I'm going to be doing these things, so I'm going to intentionally do some of these other things so that I can cut out clips, and then I can upload those clips as separate standalone content on the channel. And for those, all you have to do is just make a quick intro if you want to. You know, hey, I'm showing you how to do X, Y, Z. This is from a stream that I made the other day, and you know, some really awesome highlights that I put together for you for that. And you know, let's get into it. And then you start showing the actual clip highlights themselves. So you know, doing those types of things will help you be able to make content that's more consumable when you cut out those clips, so then people can come in, even if they don't have an hour or 30 minutes to spend, they can spend, you know, 5 minutes on that content, see the value in it, and subscribe. And then for the other thing, it's about getting people to watch longer and commit more and engage more, so that you're increasing the likelihood of them subscribing as well. Also, remember to ask people to subscribe, because that works too. The Bearded Tyrant
Super chat.
says, thanks for the super chat, by the way, says, hey, Nick, variety streaming gaming channel here. Recently, I've seen a plateau of my subs and I actually lost 2. I'm playing more games I enjoy as well as shorts, etc. How do I get past this plateau? First off, when it comes to losing subscribers, keep in mind that that's part of the game here on YouTube. Everybody, as your channel grows, you're going to, have surges of subscribers. You're going to have losses in subscribers. It's going to go up and down, just part of the thing. I've lost over 350,000 subscribers on my channel since I started it, which is mind blowing if you think about it. But I've lost over 350,000 subscribers on my channel since I started in 2014. So it's just part of the game. It's part of the gig. People unsubscribe for tons of different reasons, and it's fine. But what you do want to pay attention to though is like if you do find like when I publish this type of content or I do these types of things, people unsubscribe. Like those videos, people unsubscribe a lot. You do want to be mindful of that so you can make the choice based on what it is you're trying to do with the channel if you want to continue making that type of content or not. But when it comes to getting past the plateau, the very first thing you have to do when you just, you flatline, so to speak, is you have to go in and you have to start trying to understand why. So what I recommend that you do is you go in, you start looking at the content decisions that you've been making. You have to look and see if you're giving enough variety in the content that you're putting out. You have to make sure that the content you're putting out is still a good fit for the target audience that you're trying to reach that has also grown the channel, right? So like, let's say you go into your analytics and you see like, these are the videos that have been driving my channel over the last 90 days, because YouTube will show you that, like the ones that have the most viewership. So out of these videos right here is the stuff that I'm making now still in alignment with the stuff that, all these people would care about based on what it is that they came into the channel on. You want to make sure that you're, doing those type of checks. You also want to make sure that you're paying really close attention to the like the performance of your actual content too, because if you are if you're hitting like a plateau in either subscribers or view counts, then what can happen is if you are publishing videos on a regular basis and you just get to a point to where it's like, hey, like I can't get past this like wall of this like certain view count or sub count, then in that case what you have to do is you have to identify like, okay, things are not performing as well as I need them to in order to get through this plateau. So because of it, I need to go and I need to start modifying some things. I need to either level up my skill set. I need to level up how I'm doing this. I need to change something about what I'm doing in order to, get past this plateau. So you want to go and you want to analyze, the content on your channel that does do well, the content that doesn't do well, and then start trying to fine tune the content that the audience wants from you, so that as they respond better to it, YouTube will show it to more people like them. You can do this using your grouping feature inside of your YouTube analytics. With your grouping feature, what you can do is you can say, hey, these are things that I do within this game, about this, or this game, because you say you do variety streaming gaming channel, which to me means that you're streaming a bunch of different games. So you can say like, here's a group of these games in your analytics. You can say there's a group of these games here. Like this is Call of Duty, this is Fortnite, this is a racing game, this is something else. And then you can compare those groups against each other and you can see which ones typically drive the most subscribers, the most watch time, which ones typically get the most views, and all that as a content set instead of looking at it at just the individual video basis as well. And using all of that information, you can use that to help you, try to get past the plateau. But in your case, since you are doing variety, that by itself could be causing your plateau, especially if your subscriber count is at the growth rate that you noticed that you lost 2 subscribers, then in that case, you are probably, that variety thing is probably really working against you right now. So the thing that you might need to do is figure out using the grouping feature that I was talking about. To find that, go into your YouTube analytics, click on the advanced mode, and then click on your channel name. And then there's gonna be a little box that pops up on the tab to the farthest right. In that box is gonna say groups. Click on that, and then click add a new group. And then that's where you want to start putting in the streams or videos for that one particular game, rinse and repeat for all the different games you cover, figure out which ones people respond to at the highest rate, double down on that for a while. Once you start picking up some momentum, once you start getting more subscribers on a regular basis and you increase your view counts, you get past that plateau, then after that, then start slowly sampling in different types of games and seeing which ones people, respond to more and which ones they don't respond to, so that you can just kind of steer the channel based on the things that people are responding to. But of course, you have to make sure it's in alignment with what it is that you're wanting to do. But at the end of the day, when you understand the things that that people are wanting from you, then it really helps accelerate things when you lean into it. Like, for example, somebody asked the question earlier about, their content, saying that, they had this stuff that they, wanted to do, or the language channel, the Spanish channel. So they had the stuff that the audience is loving, which is the Learn While They Sleep. And then there's the stuff where they actually had to put in some work and learn the lessons, and they're not responding as much to that. So therefore, that my recommendation there was the same in terms of like lean into the stuff that they're responding to, as long as it's in alignment with your goals. That was a really long answer.
Next question.
The Question Hardscaper. Question Hardscaper says, how to for landscape construction. The goal of the channel is to share the work that I do and teach others that want to learn landscape construction. The goal of the channel is I'm 6 months into my first YouTube channel, and I'm at 4,700 subscribers thanks to your advice on videos, thumbnails, and editing. My question is, does the time of day that you pick to upload truly impact the amount of views that you get in the first 48 hours? Thanks again for all you do. You're helping so many creators out there. Thank you for the kind words. Yes, it does. The time matters. So the time matters. So when you publish your videos, that's going to create, like, you want to publish when you have, like, right before you have the highest viewership on the platform for that day. The reason for that is because you want to ride that wave as people are coming onto the platform that are typically active in your channel. And the reason for that is because those are going to be the people that are going to dictate the initial performance of your video. It doesn't matter for the long term. I mean, it does, but you know, like, you can still end up getting tons of traffic in the future, even if they perform bad out of the gate. But at the end of the day, if you can get your current people to subscribe that YouTube is predicting are the most, you know, into your content, if you can get them to enjoy those new videos that you publish because you publish it at the right time, then they kind of get that ball rolling for you faster, so you don't have to wait. So the difference is, when you publish a video and people can, you know, like a nice handful of people can go into it, so YouTube can quickly understand who it's a great fit for and who it's not based on how they're responding to it, then it's going to quickly learn who to show the content to. Whereas if you publish it at an off time, it could end up taking you a week to get the same data that you could have gotten in a day if you would have published at the right time. So because of that, it's more about giving YouTube the data they need by publishing at the right time to help their system understand who is the best candidate for that video. Squirrel YT says, my dad just ordered me a camera and it has a shotgun camera. How can that shotgun camera help me with making YouTube videos? So there's microphones, shotgun microphones. I've never heard of a shotgun camera. Let's see here. Unless it's something that like mounts to one, then I guess in that case, you know, maybe it could. It'd just give you some interesting perspective, I guess. Let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got Damon Varial. Hey, and really quick, before we get into Damon Varial's question here, really fast, out of the people in the chat here that are hanging out, because I've mentioned it a couple times, and I know that, you know, the people that have been here for the whole time, you've heard about it, but for the people that are hanging out in the stream right now, have you heard about TubeSpanner yet? Have you been here during the stream long enough that you've heard about TubeSpanner? If you have not, just say no, just because I want to share that with you really quick. But if, you know, if there's not a lot of people in here that haven't, then we'll just keep on trucking. But if you haven't heard about that yet, because it'll help you, then I'm going to share that with you really quick. So let's see here. So as we come in, okay, so as they're starting to come in, okay, so we got some no's in here. Okay, so just as a heads up, there is a tool. It's not a new tool. It's been around for like a few years, but they just did a major update. It's called TubeSpanner. I've got a link to it down in the description. But basically, one of the things you're going to start seeing here on this live stream is before the streams start, I'm going to start, you know, telling people I'm going to have this little graphic that's going to pop up on the screen that you see right up here at the top, just to remind people to, you know, start taking notes. And the thing that you can take notes in is called TubeSpanner. But in addition to taking notes, it will also help you distribute your content or promote your content as well through your social media channels. But here, let me just show you really quick. So basically, what TubeSpanner is, the Notepad thing that I was showing you here, basically how this works, this is just one of my videos, but basically you can use this on any YouTube video to where once you install it, it's a browser extension. You can just click on Add Notes. And then when you click on that, what's going to happen is it's going to open this little panel over in the sidebar. And then you can just, you know, as the video is playing, then what you can do is you can just add whatever note, you know, it is that you want to add to, that particular video. And then you can export that to where you can drop it in a Google Doc if you want, or, you know, you can use this to study other YouTube videos as well. Like, you know, they started it this way, they started cutting it this way, things like that. But it's awesome for, you know, taking notes on other YouTube videos. You can also use this to export chapters for your own videos as well. But you can get this at tubespanner.com. But in addition to that, let me see if I actually have a thumbnail on my desktop computer. If I do, then I'm going to show you this part too, which is really cool. And I didn't show this to you guys earlier in the stream, but let me see really quick. Yeah, I do. Okay, so another thing that's really cool about this is let me go to the homepage of YouTube. Check this thing out. So here on the homepage, right now, you see my thumbnail from this particular live stream, and then you see some other stuff that I've been listening to. As you can tell here, I'm getting into the handpan drum thing. It's really good music to listen to. But anyway, if I click on this little extension option up here, I have the option here to where I can click on image. Of course, I can do this with any of my published videos as well, but if I click on image and then I can click on upload thumbnail, I'm gonna grab this thumbnail that I made here, and then I'm just gonna put a catchy title, and I'm just going to just write catchy title just for the sake of the fun here. And then right up here in this cog icon, I'm gonna come up here and I'm just gonna set this timer to like 2 seconds. Okay, and I'm gonna add a countdown timer during a preview. What I'm getting ready to do right now is I'm getting ready to test and see how well my thumbnail stands out against the other videos that are showing up on my homepage right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click preview. It's gonna black out the screen, and it's gonna do this countdown. And then now, bam, my thumbnail pops up, it's right up here. So it doesn't really grab a lot of attention compared to like this one, for example. So if and this one with Nico over here on the Morning Fame channel. So if I wanted to like really make this thumbnail pop, I would be able to use this and say like, okay, you know what? This actually isn't doing, it doesn't stand out as much as I would like. So therefore, I'm going to go in, maybe brighten up the suit that I'm wearing or something like that in order to be able to compete against, some of these thumbnails that are a little bit brighter. So you can use it in that way to help you kind of test your thumbnails before you publish them, to just kind of see against a bunch of different types of content, how do your videos stand out on a homepage compared against a bunch of others. But again, you can find this at TubeSpanner.com. I've got a link, of course, down in the description as well. But TubeSpanner has a bunch of different tools that'll help you in a bunch of different ways. Like I mentioned before, they also do social media scheduling, so you can like share your video content out, and you can make sure that you're continually scheduling content to go out on a regular basis, and you can see the wide view over the course of the month over, like, hey, I've got videos coming out. Like you can see here, like I'm good up until the 4th of July, and then I have to add more content here to ensure that I have things going out to Twitter, videos, and just tweets and stuff on a regular basis in order to keep my Twitter account active. But you can use this on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and so on. But in addition to that, I'm just going to hit the toolbox here real quick. But it's inside of the actual website itself, because this is just the browser extension, but inside of the website itself, there's also script templates that are based on proven scripting structures. They'll help you come up with video ideas, help you write titles. You can make thumbnails with this. They also have social bio pages as well that you can activate as part of this. And with the social bio page, this is how you can connect all of your social media, traffic essentially through all of your bios and drive them back to your YouTube channel, or just spread awareness about all the different stuff that you're doing by using that one link. But that's TubeSpanner. It's a productivity suite for content creators like us, but you can find all the stuff that you need for this, or all the details, and just set up your account and all that at tubespanner.com. One thing that I do want to let you know is that this live stream right here, this is kind of just like a soft awareness on this. So we're not even like, going hard in terms of like pushing this out to the public yet. I'm not making any videos on my channel on this yet for probably like another like week or two, probably 2. But basically, like right now, as you're getting into this, like, you can go and start using this before, like a lot of people even like know about it. So one thing that's going to happen is as more features are introduced to this, the price is also going to go up. Right now, there's tons of free features you can stuff. And in fact, most of the stuff that I just showed you is actually free. But as you are getting into this, if you decide to upgrade, or you think that you might upgrade in the future, once you get in there and you see all the stuff it can do, I recommend that you do it quickly, because as more features are added to this, and there's some really awesome stuff coming up, the price is actually going to increase, as more stuff is added to it as well. So I just wanted to make sure that for those of you that weren't aware of it, that you know about it, because this is going to help you in a lot of ways when it comes to what it is that you're doing on YouTube, making sure that you're getting your content out there and all of that. So let's see here. So next up on our list here, we're going to hop back into the forum for this one. And let's see here. What for 3% click rate? Okay. Creepypasta channel says I went from 3% click-through rate to a 10% after I watched a vidIQ video on how to make a thumbnail the vidIQ way. The vidIQ way. That's funny. Yeah, that's they share a lot of great information over on their channel. Let's see here. So next up, we've got Damian Varial. Damian Varial says they do true crime and stock trading. The goal of the channel is to make money. And the question is, why is my channel not getting as many views as other channels similar to mine? It's because their videos are performing better than yours. So I know that's not what you want to hear, but I'm just being straight up with you here. Like when you notice other people getting more views on their videos than yours, what it comes down to is people are responding to their videos at a higher rate than they are yours. That doesn't mean that you can't do better in the future. It just means that right now, based on those individual videos that you're talking about, they're just getting a better response for their videos. In addition to that, depending on their channel size, YouTube also might have a lot more information on who the right people are to show those videos to compared to you, who might just be starting out. If you are, if you're just starting out and you find that, like, hey, I'm publishing these videos and they're awesome. If they're legitimately awesome and you can prove it through your click-through rate and through your audience retention reports, then when you are putting your content out and they're still doing better, then you have to just understand that, one, YouTube has a lot more data on their channels, but two, at any time, their videos can start falling off and your video can end up doing way better in the long term if people respond more to your content or better to your content than to the other channel's content. Let's see here. So Old Wolf Tech says, when do you know that the content that you show is just not doing it and think about rebranding? So when it comes to YouTube, I'm a big fan of like finding something that you're interested in and like sticking to it. Of course, sometimes, that becomes not viable in some cases, but when possible, I encourage people to like pick the things that you're the most interested in and pick, something about that. And then, like just get really good at making that type of content, because in a lot of cases, what'll happen is people will make, and this question's from Old Wolf Tech. But basically what'll happen is people will be making content and they won't be getting the response that they want, and they'll change the type of content they're making because they're not getting the response they want, but they don't know that by changing the content, it's not going to make them make a better video, right? It's not going to make them make a better video. It's not going to make them, write better titles. It's not going to make them write better thumbnails and so on. So because of that, I really encourage you to pick whatever it is that you care about and make content about that and learn how to get the audience that you're trying to reach with that content to respond. So one way that you can find out if you like how your videos are performing is, of course, looking at your click-through rate, looking at your average view duration, look at how often people are completing your videos, look at if people do complete your videos, look at how many people are clicking on your end screens, look at returning videos back or returning viewers back to your channel, look at all those things to just get a quick picture of how people are responding to your content overall. And if you find that, hey, the average click-through rate on YouTube is between 2 and 10%, just so you know. But if you find, like we found out in a member stream last night, if you find that you have a click-through rate that's like 1% and you're not getting a lot of impressions on your videos, then that means that you really need to work on either your topic, your title, your thumbnail, or all of the above. If you have a click-through rate of like, let's say 5%, or in some cases, maybe even 10%, but you've only got, 300 impressions, that looks good, but in reality, it's not that great because there haven't been that many people that have interacted with the content itself. But the next thing you got to look at then is you have to look at your average view duration. Like when people start your videos, like how far are people making it? And you can use your audience retention reports to figure that out as well. So what you need to do before you do decide to make, some type of switch like that is you need to go in, you need to look and see how people are responding to what it is that you're doing. And then you have to, and we all have to do this. I'm not like, putting the light on you here, but like what we have to do is we have to go and we have to look at the results that we get and how people respond to our content. And then we have to go and we have to look in the mirror and we have to say like, okay, so it's not really the subject that I'm talking about. It's me and the skills that I have or the effort that I'm willing to put into it. Like, that's what's getting me what it is that I have, right now. So in order to get past this, then either one, I need to develop more skills, or two, I need to put in more effort than what it is that I'm currently doing in order to reach the audience that I'm trying to reach. So those are the things that I would consider if you are, trying to think of if you should change or not. Shelly Saves. Hey, what's up, girl? Hope you're doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. Let's see here. So as we keep on going down the list here, we've got question number 35. Creative Life with Jesus says that they do edutainment content. The goal of the channel is to help Christians explore their creativity and improve their relationship with God. And the question is, happy July. We'll just go ahead and say happy 4th of July weekend, but happy July as well. I was driving and singing yesterday and noticing businesses. After talking to one business owner that I had never met before, I realized there might be an opportunity to create content for local businesses that hasn't yet explored YouTube. Have you ever done this type of thing? I know Cody Warner has. Do you think it's a good idea if I let the business know that I'm new to this and I can modify their expectations? So I've done this, but not exactly in the way that you're looking at it. So mine was that I had already, started interacting with some of these companies, and they asked me, to make videos for them. And then I did. So I made some videos for Uscreen. I made some videos for Empire Flippers as well. Made videos for both of them. Great experience on both sides. But when it comes to hitting up business owners. There is absolutely a business there. I know Owen Video, if you're familiar with him, this is actually one of his merch shirts right here. But with Owen Video, he actually got his entire start in video, literally going door to door in businesses, trying to, highlight the importance of these businesses having videos. And he started an entire, business from that. And then now, many years later, he's not doing exactly that, but he's still helping like real estate agents and mortgage brokers and all these different, service providers. He's helping them all make videos and grow on YouTube and social media in general with what it is that they're doing. So without question, there's a business there. And if that's something that you're interested in, you can make really good videos, then definitely I would try to capitalize on that. I actually have an entire video on my channel about YouTube side hustles. And one of the things in that video, I know I mentioned editing videos, but I might have mentioned also making videos for other people too. So you might want to check out that video. Yeah, Ash Borland says it's a huge market. I agree with that too. So many companies right now sleeping on social media. Or they're just not doing it right, or their stuff is just garbage because they just don't know what they're doing. So Brianna Marie LPN says they do nursing and lifestyle content. The goal of the channel is to grow my channel enough to spend more time at home with my kids. And the question, how can I get better at editing my videos? Currently using VLLO on phone. I'm tech stupid. So when it comes to editing videos, you can absolutely do it on your phone. And some people have really good results on their phones and tablets. But one thing that I would explore if you're trying to get better is I would explore, trying to get like a laptop or something that you could edit videos on. Just because, the editing software currently, you can get most stuff inside of like LumaFusion on like an iPad, for example. But if you don't have an iPad, then in that particular case, if you don't want to work with your thumbs and you just want to, have a different experience when it comes to editing, I really recommend at least experimenting with either on a friend's computer or something like that, or even going to like the Apple store and opening up like, Final Cut Pro and just experimenting with like a little edit there with some of their stock footage. It's a totally different experience editing on a computer. In fact, Nigel, I'm not sure if he's still in the chat or not, but Salad Cream Boys' YouTube channel, he just changed from a phone to a computer, and mind blown in terms of, just all the different things that he can do now on the computer that he wasn't able to do on a phone. So like his learning curve on the phone was slower compared to what it is that he's doing on his computer now too. So I would definitely, just kind of experiment with like how you're putting everything together and what you're putting things together on to see if you do find a more comfortable, workflow. But in terms of getting better, a lot of editing comes down to conceptual things as well. So there's a YouTube channel called Hellier Smith. He edits videos for like Logan Paul and other like high level YouTubers like that. I recommend that you watch some of his content because he goes into a lot of conceptual things when it comes to editing in terms of just like pacing and, things like that. And just like certain cuts that, that you don't know until you get some experience, those types of things that you can also do on a phone. So understanding some of those concepts will also help you be able to, make videos better and help you be able to edit your videos better as well. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a lightning round where we go through questions. And really quick, Doug's mentioning that I overlooked a super chat here, so let me hit that really quick and get that taken care of. And then we're gonna go into a lightning round. So what a lightning round is, for those of you that let's say that you are, this is your first time here or something, what a lightning round is where I just pull a bunch of questions directly out of the chat and then I answer them in as fast of a manner as I possibly can. And the reason that I'm doing that right now is because I know some people, that you just showed up or, you maybe been waiting around for a while and, the form got filled up or something like that. So I also want to just give, some of those people just a quick opportunity to and just answer them, quickly as well. But before I do that, really quick, 8's Guy says, I live stream, thanks for the super chat, says, I live stream a view from my window every day for 12 hours. I finally hit the algorithm, but will be on vacation and won't be able to stream. Will this affect my algorithm? If so, any suggestions? So, it's going to be too late now, but what I recommend that you do is that you look into VPS. It's called a virtual private server. There's a company called, I just got my renewal email from them today. Give me 1 second and I can probably find it right here. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Man, what is the name of it? Yeah, I'm not sure. OBubble. Okay, it's OBubble. So basically with OBubble, hey, thanks, Roberto. Roberto Blake in the house. So with OBubble, basically what you can do there is you can set up a 24/7 live stream. So what you can do if you choose to do this is you can set it up to where you have the camera and it'd be going, actually no, because your camera still has to connect to it. So that's not going to work. So you'd still have to be there for that. So yeah, so never mind. The virtual private server is not going to work because you can't connect the camera to the virtual private server. So yes, that's not going to fly. The only way you'd be able to do that is if you hoaxed it, which means that you'd have to record content for like several days and then, or at least a day loop, and then drop that in there, or a few days loops and then drop it in there as a playlist. So it would look like it was streaming, even though it wasn't. But if you're not going to do that, in your particular case, it's not going to, hurt you. But when you have videos like that are live, like right now, and people are like in there, it can, when you take that stream down, it can end up, negatively impacting things. Not that it's going to like hurt you, but like your next one that you publish may not do as well as that one's doing, or it could do better as well. So like if you have to go on vacation, like that's what you got to do. Don't even worry about it. Just do what you're going to do. And then when you come back in, what you might want to do is you might want to just replicate what it was that you did in that particular video, or pretty close to it, in terms of how you actually package it up. Because if that video is doing well, then what's happening is that means it's getting a response. So people are clicking on it. So you wanted to be mindful of the title you use. You also want to be mindful of the thumbnail that you use for it, because that's causing people to come in and hang out. And then of course, you just want to make sure that everything else about it is the same as what it is that you're doing now before you take your vacation. Okay. So now we are going to hop into the, chat. So here's what we're doing for the lightning round. If you have a question about what it is that you're doing on YouTube, if you put a Q in front of your question, that helps me identify that it's for me and that it's not a side conversation happening in the chat. So if you have a question starting now, go ahead and drop it in the chat right now for this lightning round. And I'm starting underneath where Doug Houston just says lightning round. So those will be the first questions that I'll go after. Okay. So 12 says, how to start with no niche in mind. I can talk about so many things, which is making me procrastinate. So here's the thing to understand, 12. Every human being is multi-passionate. Everybody that hangs out in this, everybody hanging out in this chat, everybody has multiple things that they're interested in. It's part of being a human. So because of that, we all think about different things, and we all would love to make channels about a bunch of different things. I would love to make channels about travel. I'd love to make channels about my life in Thailand. I would love to make channels about relationships in Thailand. I would love to make a channel about music, just like sharing music stuff. I would love to make a tech channel just because I'm always getting this, tech stuff all the time for my live streams and videos. But there's a lot of things that I would love to make content about. But I've got time to like really focus, hard on like one thing. So because of that, I picked a thing that I'm interested in. And plus the audience kind of led me down this path. Like when I first started, I had no intent on doing this type of content, but the audience kind of led me down this road. So because of that, what I recommend that you do is you just pick something that you are the most interested in and just make content about that. That can be anything, but in order to get going, you need to get in motion. So getting in motion is so important that yesterday I did a live stream on a new series that I'm doing about keeping people up to date, with like updates that YouTube does, where I just hop in, do a quick video every week, as long as there's an update, give a video every week and then move on. And I started it. It was messy. I was stumbling all over myself. I actually got home late because I was sitting in traffic, and like my time between that and hopping on a call was limited. So like everything was like, messy, but I made the commitment yesterday that like, no matter what happens, I'm going to, make sure that I get this, started today. So even though it was messy, I still got it out there, still got it started. I think I might have like 5,000 views on it or something right now. But like I started it to get it in motion, and then I can improve on it over time. So what I encourage you to do is just pick something that you care about and that you can think that I care about this so much and I enjoy it so much that I could talk about it for at least a couple of years, and start making content about that. And then when you start making content about that, of course, you can change at any time. You can start making content about other things at other times. But the idea is to get in motion. So one thing, just as another quick side note for you, that YouTube recommends, one thing that YouTube recommends is that when you are in a situation kind of like you're in right now, where you're like, hey, I have all these different things I want to make content about. I want to make content about everything, but I don't know what to do. What YouTube recommends is that you try putting everything out there. And then as soon as you have one video that does better than the other videos, and it's like an obvious better, not like, hey, this one has 8 views more, but like this one's got like 300 views more than this. And then if I publish something else on that topic, it also performs better. But when you notice that you have a particular subject taking off, that you lean into that subject and you make your channel about that subject. So you might want to consider that as well. Let's see here. So next up on our list here, we've got Where's the best place for royalty-free music? Hey, thanks for the shout-out opportunity there, Ash. Creatormix.com, without question. Link to that in the description, by the way. Volkstron says, what's the chance of a video going viral and how to improve my chances for it to just blow up? Also, what are the signs that it'll blow up soon or in the future? Extremely high click-through rate, extremely high average view duration. Do those things, then your videos will do great. If you add on top of that people also click into the next video that you recommend in your end screen, and they have a similar experience there, then you're almost guaranteeing that originating video is going to do great. So extremely high complete rate on the video, extremely high rate of people clicking on your end screens and going and watching more of your content, extremely high engagement to accompany that in terms of you're getting a lot of likes, comments, people subscribing to the channel and all that. All of those things paint the picture of a video that YouTube wants to show more people because it has proof that people are massively enjoying the content. Content doesn't go viral by accident. It goes viral because people respond to it at a high rate. So make sure you're thinking about that. Also, make sure that you're considering the shareability of the content as well. Because if you're also starting sessions with that content, which means you're causing people to come onto YouTube to watch your video, then that can also really help your videos take off as well. Maya Vlog says, can I possibly upload videos from online shops where I'm an affiliate and put my affiliate link in the video? Can I still be monetized with that, or is that allowed in the YouTube Partner Program? So you can upload your videos from your shops as an affiliate. So if you're saying like your Amazon videos, like if you're uploading, like if you're part of the Amazon influencer program and you're uploading videos into there, then in that case, you might not necessarily want to upload this into YouTube unless you're doing like full reviews of those products. But I know a lot of people are making like really low quality versions of those that may or may not be a great fit for YouTube. So because of that, like one of the things that YouTube is against is like affiliate channels. Like if you're giving like content, that's one thing. But if you're giving like, hey, here's just a quick review. Here's a quick, 1 minute review of this shoe. Here's a link to it in the description. Here's a quick 1 minute review of this like camera, link in the description, those types of things, so that you can kind of exploit YouTube for the power that it has to rank in Google search, so that you can pull traffic in there to convert them as an affiliate and make money that way. They really frown on that type of thing. However, if you have content and you're actually reviewing the thing, you're showing the, like the positives, negatives, and all that stuff, all of that is perfectly fine. Affiliate marketing on YouTube is totally fine. You do have to disclose it. You need to have something in your description that either shows like, hey, this is, an affiliate or whatever after the link. Another thing is if you are doing it with Amazon, there's very specific language that you also need to put in that you need to put in your description as well in order to be compliant with Amazon's affiliate program. Other affiliate programs also have that. So you need to make sure that you are reading the terms. Who reads the terms of service? But you do need to make sure that you are reading the terms of service and any requirements for any of the places that you are promoting as an affiliate. Is 45 seconds of sponsorship placements too long, and where should we position it in the video? Technically it is. Some people will ask for that. Sometimes I'll do long ones like that as well. So what you have to think about when you have somebody that is demanding a certain length on the sponsorship placement is that you have to make sure that you do understand that some of those videos probably won't perform as well, and they have to understand that too. So like when you have companies that you are working with and they are trying to dictate either the topics or they're trying to dictate, like where you're putting the ad or how long the ad is, they do that for their reasons to make sure that they get the exposure they need and all that. But as a content creator, you can also take the hit because you're doing things the way that you need to do them in order to be, like how they are. So depending on the approach that you want to take, you can be like, hey, I'm not going to do that. I'll only do it if it's XYZ. Or if you're like, hey, I'm going to do it, then in that case, you just know that those videos aren't going to perform as well because, you're having to do these other things that typically cause videos not to perform as well. So, so because of that, just keep that in mind. But one thing you can do is if you are, doing sponsorships, you can put them at the end of your videos. Like, I'll usually put them in the beginning for the sake of, just bringing as much attention to it as possible. But I do that at the expense of the performance of the video. So if you know that going in and you're cool with that, that's fine. But if you're like, hey, I don't want to do that, and I want to make sure every video performs at the highest rate it possibly can, then in that case, you want to make sure you put those sponsor messages at the end of the video. Next, we've got, if the first two videos, and this is from Mr. Darth, the first two videos on my channel were gaming related, but I've completely pivoted to comedy. Does it make sense to make new channel, or is keeping the current one fine? Keeping the current one's fine, but if you've only got 3 videos on the channel, I would just delete the gaming videos and just stay focused on the comedy. Lizzie Murphy says, I don't see a lot of videos on how to grow any gaming channel. Any tips? Yeah, there's a YouTube channel called Gaming Careers. I recommend that you check him out. But when it comes to the gaming channels, just as a heads up, like gamers, for whatever reason, and I don't know why this is, but in the gaming community, a lot of gamers think that that they're like, all the rules that apply to YouTube don't apply to them for some reason, but in reality they do. So the same rules apply in terms of like, you have to be able to get, you know, a competitive click-through rate. You have to be able to get a competitive average view duration. You need to keep people engaging in your content in terms of likes, comments, subscribes, all that. You need to, you know, have people clicking on your in-screen videos, watching more of your content, coming back to your channel. Like all of the things that we talk about that relate to other channels, 100% of that applies to gaming content as well. The only difference is if we're talking about maybe like, you know, how you would present on camera, which even that, you know, if you're on camera as a gamer, then in that case, you know, some of that would still apply as well. But you know, a lot of people in a lot of different niches, actually, it's not just gaming. So what'll happen is I'll have people in my comments like, hey, this is all great information, but you know, hey, could you make some videos for you know, cooking channels? It's like, well, you know, yeah, I could, but the information shared in this video also applies to cooking channels, right? But the same exact thing applies to gaming channels and, you know, a bunch of other channels as well. So like when you are, you know, coming in as a gamer, it's important to make sure that, you know, that the concepts that we always talk about when you're watching these types of, you know, videos or streams, that it applies to you too. So the differences are, you know, like the trends that you're following might be a little bit different because you guys have the advantage of, you know, being able to capitalize on like updates when there's like big updates and things like that. When there's big like drops in terms of like skins, that kind of things, you guys can capitalize on that, which other people can't. Like a food channel, for example, like what they have to lean on is like, you know, trending recipes and like stuff like that. But like food is, you know, food. So it's like a little bit of a different game. But like when it comes to gamers, one advantage that you do have though is that, you know, if you are a gamer and you are like doing it to the extent that you are gaming seriously enough that you're making a YouTube channel about it, then in that case, you are probably pretty committed to being, you know, to gaming. And because of that, you have like a skill set attached to you that is really going to help you in a major way on YouTube if you decide to point it in the direction of YouTube. So as a gamer, you are constantly teaching yourself like patterns, and you're constantly, you know, trying to level up all your different stats in the games, and you're constantly trying to figure out what things work and what's the most efficient and fastest way to do things and all that. If you apply that same approach to what it is that you're doing on YouTube, you'll do awesome. So the way that you do that is you essentially gamify YouTube. So go into your stats, look at all the numbers that are going on there, and look at that through the lens of like, hey, I'm trying to like get my levels up here, and go in and start literally looking at all the stats, just like you would do in your games. Go and start looking at all the stats, you know, related to it, and start thinking like, okay, in this video, I got people watching for this amount of time. What do I got to do? How do I got to put this together in order to keep people watching for an even longer period of time, right? And then you make sure that you are, you know, focused on doing those things. I need to step away for like 30 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. I'm going to drop a rap video here for you really quick. A little diss track with me and Brian G. Johnson. I will be right back in about 30 seconds.
Check, 1, 2. I'm B to the G, it's easy to see what you need, it's attention from me. I'll give you the shout, get back on the grind and you'll be down for the count, trying to breathe. Your favorite is me, now you hate with the diss. All of that hair hanging there like a chick, man, give me a break. You're standing too close to the camera like Nick. There's the claim that you say, Filmora is hate. Call me a thief for the titles you hate. I taught you the rank, you seem to forget it. I hit it and quit it, and you try to walk in my wake. I'm tossing you weight, giving you shine, giving you clout by doing this with my time. And what I'm about, why I'm your guy. You come to my console, but now you're denied. You wanna throw shade. It's too late, I already got it made. You wanna bring hate. Hit the road, hater, cause I'm not phased.
If you're messing with G, you're messing with me. The name is Nimmin, I'll bend in a knee. Disturbing the peace, I'll come back into battle and murder.
All right, so we are back. Okay, so let's keep on trucking here. So we've got, let's see here. I don't see a lot of videos on a gaming channel. Okay, we got that one. Is it a bad idea to put emoticons in the titles? It's not a bad idea. Just make sure that it doesn't obscure the viewer being able to read the part that's going to be the most important to them. Compressing videos, yes or no? You don't have to. Like YouTube has its own compression that it'll put on your videos, but you know, if you need to for the sake of like upload speeds, because I see you're like AC Asia. So if if where you're at, if the upload speeds aren't great, like here in Thailand, they're blazing fast. Like we have great upload speeds here. But if your upload speeds are low, then in that case, if you need to use Handbrake or something like that in order to get your videos up, then in that case, it'll help you be able to upload them faster. What can I do to get more subs, add more value to your community? Make sure you're asking for subs. Make sure you're putting a reason. Instead of asking people to subscribe, make sure you're giving them a reason to subscribe first. So what I mean by that is let them know the specific value that they're going to get from your channel if they subscribe. Let's see here. Recommendations for consistency. Great question. And this is from Candace Gray. When it comes to consistency, you want to make sure that you're working the process of creating content into your lifestyle. So the reason that you want to do this is because if you want to be consistent for a long period of time, you need to have scheduled time that you're making content. If you don't, everything else will always get in the way. So if you want to do this for a long period of time and you want the whole thing to be sustainable, start now with making sure that you're scheduling time to work on your content throughout the week. Are memes subject to copyright? Technically, yes. John the Traveler, is it too late to start a YouTube channel? From Cambodia. Hey, we're practically neighbors, John, because I'm in Thailand. No, it is not too late to start a YouTube channel. In fact, I would encourage you to start a YouTube channel. Here's the thing. A lot of people think that the boat has like left the port on YouTube. It hasn't. It's easier to grow a YouTube channel now than it's ever been. There's so much information. Like channels like mine, back in the day, they didn't exist. Like Daryl and Tim and like Gideon Shawick and James Wedmore, like they were the only people making this type of content. And back in the day, they didn't get into like the nitty gritty, so to speak, like we get into now. So like it's never been easier. Like the information, all the information that you need is out there. All you have to do is just get the information and apply it to what it is that you're doing, and be willing to put in the effort, be willing to learn, be willing to analyze what it is that you're doing, make adjustments and so on, and you'll do fine. It is absolutely not too late to start a YouTube channel. 86 Boxing says, the majority of my views come from browse and search. I post on social media as well. Should I focus more on social media posting or less? So if the majority of your views are coming from browse and search already, that means that you're already getting some type of performance on YouTube, which is a win. In terms of posting on social media, that's your call. One thing that I recommend that you do when you're deciding which platforms or which groups that you post to is I recommend that you go, like after you share them, go into your traffic sources report after like a week or so, go into your traffic sources report for the videos that you share, and go and look under your external traffic sources. And then you're going to see like Facebook or Reddit or wherever it is that you're sharing your stuff. And then you can start to get an understanding of how those people are reacting when they actually come into the video. And you'll quickly learn like, okay, hey, is that a good place to share or not based on how long people are watching the videos. Invisible America TV says, how to expand your niche. So expanding your niche comes down to figuring out how to make your content more available for a general audience. Like let's say, for example, if I was trying to expand my niche, I would change from YouTube to social media in general, or maybe YouTube plus video production. And I would add that video production as like an additional thing. Or maybe I would do like YouTube and TikTok or YouTube and Instagram or something like that in order to expand. And the first thing that I would consider though, is the people that I'm talking to are YouTube content creators. However, a lot of YouTube content creators, they also have Instagram or TikTok or whatever. So because of that, what I would do is I would make a series of posts over time asking people where they are the most active on other than YouTube. And then based on that information, then I would start making content based on, whichever platform that was. Is it okay to upload the same video on multiple channels? It is not. That is actually against the community guidelines on YouTube, and you can get both channels taken down for that. How we got here, Genealogy says, when does our next rap album drop? It's funny. I've actually made some songs. So I made one about taking a break to take the spot of that video. But I ended up just not liking it. So basically what I'll do is I'll make something and then I'll sit on it for like a few weeks and I'll be like, yeah, does it still feel as good as it felt when I made it? And it just didn't. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to do that one. But I do have one that I want to do. I just haven't gotten around to actually making the video for it, but it's a really fun song. It's a celebration song and it's really fun for when people cross like milestones and stuff. So eventually that'll come, but I just don't have a set date for it yet. All right, so that concludes our stream for today. So thank you everybody so much for hanging out in the stream. I do want to let you know, if you're a new content creator and you know this is your first time here in the stream, we do this every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So I encourage you to come back next weekend. In addition to that, there's a lot of information shared during the stream. So because of that, I encourage you to just pick a couple of things, or maybe even a thing that resonated with you, to where you're like, yeah, maybe I should try that with my channel, or maybe I need to look into that more with my content. Maybe I need to look and see about my click-through rate or my average view duration, or the places I'm sharing my content. Maybe I need to go and track how people are responding there, those types of things. Go in and start looking at that stuff, because when you hear all of this, it sounds great, but the way that you're actually going to start moving the needle is when you start implementing the things that you hear, and you start, actually, working on the channel. So because of that, I encourage you to just take some of the information and just start applying it to what it is that you're doing. In addition to that, I do want to remind everybody here to check out the sponsors of the channel, of course. I got links to everybody down in the description. TubeBuddy, of course, StreamYard for live streaming, TubeBuddy for optimizing your channel and keyword research and all of that. TubeSpanner, which is the new thing I've been talking about a lot today. That's down in the description as well, to help you take notes on videos, to help you distribute your content across social media, to help you write excellent scripts for what it is that you're doing. We have the social bio page there to make sure that you're sending people all in the right place, all of those types of things. In addition to that, Creator Mix for the music that you have, or music that you can use for free in your live streams and podcasts and video content, all that stuff. Also check out Camtasia. They're also a channel sponsor as well. They are a video editing and screen recording software. I've got videos on them on my channel as well. And besides that, everybody have a fantastic weekend. If you're in America, have a great and fun 4th of July weekend. Stay safe out there. A lot of stuff blowing up, so just be safe over there. And again, thank you everybody so much for hanging out. I hope you have an awesome rest of your weekend. Thank you for your time today, and have a great weekend. I'll see you next Saturday. And if you want to hop in for the news segment that I do on Friday, then feel free to swing in on that one as well. So have a great weekend, and I will see you next time.